Angry Jojo.
I should have our own channel.
And oh, right, I should put it to public. Save. There we go. I guess that's gonna take a minute to do the thing, I guess. But we should be good. Yeah, that looks good. Now live on your channel. Oh, that's my channel. That's good to know.
Right.
What's up? The people are not here yet because I put it on public too late. Whoa.
It's okay. I'm here.
Yeah. Oh, there's someone. Hello, Ty. Hello. There they are. Hey, I am. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend anyone. Okay. What's going on, everybody? I guess the people go in. Yeah. I mean, we almost had to do this later. I guess. I mean, I never really said when I'm gonna do this one. Except on EFAB yesterday, but that doesn't count. That's another.
Yeah,
that's another universe.
Delay is my fault. We're late because of me.
Oh no, I didn't tell anyone any times or something. I only said yesterday we're gonna do this today, but it's all good. I hope I didn't make you just rush through the game now today because I said that, because it would have been fine if you didn't.
No, honestly, like I actually thought it was going to be significantly longer than it was.
Right.
Because I mean, I guess we can get into it. I guess once you finish the intro, but let's just say I spent a lot of time wandering around this game, effectively doing nothing. I wasn't doing nothing. I was learning what the game was, but the initial concept of what I had of what the game probably was expecting of me was incorrect. Yeah. And it took me a while to actually like learn what the system.
Elaborate on this, because I'm still kind of confused what happened to you brain-wise when you were playing the game. What did you misunderstand?
So the first hour to 2 hours, I guess, of the game, like a good chunk, pretty much all the way up to when you get that first puzzle where you have the canisters from the different wings. Like, it's a whole complex that's almost like a mini Imsim area itself,
right?
Where you go to the cryo wing, and then almost like
when you have to re-energize the birch tree. Yeah,
with those canisters.
Which is a long area, by the way. That takes like 2 hours or something.
Well, exactly. And I was like, okay, so it's
a very weird intro to the game, because after this whole section, which probably can take you up to 3 hours. I would actually need to check back how long I took. It was probably was 3 hours, because I started the game and stopped in the complex and then did more for an hour when I came back the next day. So it's a pretty long...
I think it was 2 sittings for me too.
It's kind of a long intro. It's like probably 3 to 4 hours, depending on how much you look around and want to read all the documents and whatnot. But yeah, they basically start you, I don't know, I guess in the middle of the gameplay loop almost, if that makes any sense. Because from what I understand, the gameplay loop normally is like, you do this dungeon and then you can explore or go to next thing. But just like, you're in dungeon now, do this. It's the longest dungeon. Might be the longest dungeon.
That's the thing. The dungeon, yeah, I think it actually is. So the first dungeon that you're in, that we're talking about here, is like, there is kind of an intro, like a cold open that is very beautiful, and you just kind of it's like basically a pan the camera around with your mouse cinematic, like the beginning of Half-Life or something, you know?
Right.
And then you get like the title screen, and the premise kind of starts, and then you're up and running. But the intro we're talking about, this sort of long dungeon sequence, to me, like, I thought that was going to be the game, that it was just going to be a very linear save room to save room kind of like, get to the next save room, almost like, I don't know, like Metroid Other M or something, where it's just you keep on getting to save points where you can upgrade your gear and stuff and save your game, and then you fight your way to the next one and continue. And then, you know, there's puzzles and things like that you solved, and I kind of figured that the game would just keep on expanding and be you know, almost like a BioShock type deal, where you just you move through Rapture, you know?
Right, and then it just gets longer and longer, and then you can backtrack if you want to. Because I recall correctly, in BioShock, you could like backtrack pretty far if you wanted to. If I'm
but BioShock is presented in a way where it's like, hey, this is basically linear,
Hmm.
but you can explore. And some of the linear path will sometimes take you back to places you've already been, and you'll recognize it, and it has a layout and a geography to it.
Hmm.
And this game does as well, so I'm not saying that it doesn't have that. But where I got really thrown off is once you're done this 3-hour section, this complex dungeon that's kind of linear and has a lot of puzzles and stuff in it, all of a sudden you just enter an open world, and I was like,
Right.
what? I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I had no idea I was going to get out of that long dungeon, and then it would be like, oh yeah, by the way, this game is Far Cry. And I was like,
I saw
oh,
those comparisons
oh
in chat as well when I started getting to the open world. It's like, oh,
yes.
is this Far Cry now?
Well, and but the thing is, that's also incorrect. That
Yeah,
will kind
yeah.
of get to. So I'm thinking like, okay, well now this is a big open world. All right, there's towers I can look at, or like because the first terminal that you go to is up that like spinny elevator thingy, and then
Yeah.
you look at the terminal and can access the cameras. And essentially, I was assuming that it would be like, okay, there's cameras around places where if you get seen by them and you fight robots near them, you get an alert phase. The alert phase has several levels. It eventually turns into just like basically never-ending battle.
Yeah.
And this game is like it doesn't really make it clear to you that it almost doesn't want you to use stealth. It just wants you to run.
Yeah.
It wants you to treat it like it's dying light. Like,
That's the weird part. They tell you, hey, Major, I can deactivate them permanently if you just sneak up to them. I was like, okay. And then you do it once, like, oh, you want me to do a quick time event every time? I'll do that. No, thank you.
yeah, a quick time event every time when there's like, but on the surface, there is like tons of robots.
So
They're
many
everywhere.
robots.
Like that's the thing. I'm like, I don't like how the hell am I supposed to stealth around here?
I don't know.
And then every time I would start like cause an alert, I would end up in a fight, and then I'd destroy the cameras and be like, okay, and then I fought off all the enemies in the area. Then it's still like, oh, your alert phase is there because all of a sudden the camera was back, the camera that I destroyed. Because that's not a glitch, by the way.
No,
the game...
at some point you realize like, oh, they repair these
Yeah.
all the time. And of course,
And
your first intuition is, okay, where do these things come from, and where can I destroy that thing?
Yeah, and you also have to factor in that the enemies in this game effectively look like crash test dummies.
Yeah,
Which again is by design. It's not because hey, like we're trying to make these look like real people, but just we have no budget for this indie game, and they ended up looking bad. Like this game looks really, really good for the most part.
Yeah.
And I think actually part of the reason they can keep the performance as high as they do is all the enemy models are pretty simplistic.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the thing. They look kind of creepy, and I was just sort of like, and I guess it wasn't entirely apparent to me that it was just an art style choice. So I'm like, yeah, there's these weird character models, and I'm fighting nothing but what looks like the exact same enemy and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
The game tells me that it's a stealth thing with cameras and stuff, and I don't even understand what I'm playing here. This seems like Eastern European nonsense, like at a certain point.
Eurojank, I think they call it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, and I'm no stranger to Eurojank. I've played Cruelty Squad, you know. Like,
I don't even know what that is.
Oh yeah, you want janky. That's janky on a whole other level than Atomic Heart. And the art style even for Cruelty Squad, amazing. But yeah, that's
Cruelty Squad.
it's an interesting game. It's not good is a strong word, but it's also not bad. Kind of also an immersive sim kind of game like this.
Wait, I might have seen it randomly in a Markiplier video when he played random games.
Yeah, and it is pretty random. It's one of those things that like the boomer shooter community on like, Twitter and stuff. I find out about a lot of games through them, and I'm assuming that at least some of them like me because at this point I've kickstarted a whole shitload of their games. But I mean, if they know who I am at that point, but I don't know. I'm not sure if you would track Kickstarter backers, but I think I probably would if I saw a Kickstarter username that backed my project who also was like a critic of the type of media that I do, or like analyst. I don't know what I am. Journalist. I don't know. I'm kind of shit at video games. I guess I'm a games journalist. Took me a while to get through that puzzle. I did die at the final boss, so
You
I had to
did.
try twice.
Well, to be
Second
fair,
attempt.
you played with stock weapons. That was pretty
Well,
impressive.
yeah, and that's the thing. It wasn't exactly stock weapon.
I
So what
don't.
happened is I just didn't find, and that was another thing. Like I wasn't finding any weapons or anything.
I
It was like
legit don't know how that happened. Like I just stumbled upon the recipes every once and again.
yeah, I mean,
I think the only weapon that is hidden in the test site is the railgun.
yeah, which I did never receive. I never even caught the AK. I didn't get the
Yeah, I don't know
basic
how you missed the
assault rifle in this game.
you missed the Kalash, which is probably the best weapon in the game. It
I
gets
mean,
really
it's like,
really good.
I mean, yeah, it's a game that takes place in Russia. The AK's gotta be,
Wait,
at
blueprints
least.
are RNG? Really?
Oh, are they? Okay, well, I guess that's how
Oh,
that happened
is
then.
that
But
why I randomly got like double blueprints and the game told me, "Oh, you already have this blueprint."
yeah, it gave me one of those ones, and I was like, "Get the fuck out of here!" There's so much stuff I don't
Oh,
have, and
it's RNG in the overworld. So you still just
oh,
miss them in the dungeon, I guess. Because
maybe I don't know. I go like
the test
I
sites
just
are always
I
set.
don't.
But what about what about the dungeons, the mainline dungeons? Because that's where you find most of the weapons, as far as I know.
All I got was the M9 pistol or whatever they call it,
Yeah,
the
the
standard kind of
MP.
Glock MP pistol
Yeah,
or PM, I think. PM? I think it's
it
PM.
was a PM, but one of the
Um,
two.
but yeah, that I got kind of an axe, like more of a cleaver looking axe type weapon. This is
Yeah.
not the stock one that you get. But so I did get one crafted item there. I got the electro pistol, which was basically my go-to for most of the game. Like that was really good. Very valuable for saving ammo too.
Oh yeah.
And I just kept on upgrading my weapons. And eventually it got to the point that my PM pistol that was good for long range, and my shotgun that was good for short
Yeah.
range, and
It's not like
good melee, and the
you
electro pistol.
I mean, I caught most of your stream today, right before this one.
Mm,
I was like, yeah, you actually, you know what? You were doing pretty all right considering you didn't have like some of the really, really good weapons. Like, it's not like you were completely at a handicap because you didn't have those weapons. It seems like you
Yeah.
were able to manage pretty well.
Well, and I think that's a testament to like the upgrade system. I think they
Yeah.
give you tons of ways to upgrade your weapons, and I think it's smart that they have it so that each attachment that you craft can then be upgraded. And they give you different types of perks with each upgrade. So
Mm-hmm.
your barrel for your pistol. Some of the upgrades for the barrel, there's four upgrades for each attachment usually. Some of the upgrades for the barrel will increase your damage. Some of them will
Yeah.
increase your accuracy, and it's like okay, so you can be pumping different values of points into different things and be sort of getting different perks, and it crafts the build around each weapon in a pretty good way. It seems like they thought about this stuff a lot, and that's sort of why I've heard a lot of people talk about different builds that don't use any of the same stuff I do. That they're just like, yeah, my build was super overpowered, and I was like, I
Yeah.
almost kind of felt like mine was overpowered. I felt like I was. So you were saying my my strategy is Coom and shock.
Coom shock.
Yeah, the Coom shock strategy.
That
'Cause I
that,
use
that, that
the
worked really
foam
well.
spray.
You were able to use that quite a lot as well. I saw you were just
Yeah,
cooming all over the
well,
place.
because the way I was thinking it, I was like, the shock is the only thing that seems to be like super viable for because it
Well,
stuns people and does damage.
also makes sense to just upgrade it because you have it all the time. Like that's the one
Mhm.
ability the game doesn't let you change out because you need it for puzzles as well.
Yeah.
And I think it gets like chain lightning and everything at some point with the upgrades.
Yep. I
It's
fully maxed it out, and the chain lightning does make it very effective and makes it a lot easier to ignite the coom.
yeah,
Because so basically this what we say when we mean coom, not literal coom, although it is white, creamy white liquid that I spray
there are
everywhere.
so many phallic objects and innuendos in this game. It is coom. It is literal coom.
Okay, sure. But anyways, my coom, specifically my coom
Oh.
in the game, at least, or my build in the game, video game, not in
Yeah.
Minecraft specifically, but as one would say on the internet in Minecraft, in Atomic Heart.
Yeah.
My Coom.
Our Coom comrade.
It's our Coom in Soviet Russia. That's amazing. Anyways, but it enhances elemental attacks.
Right.
So with the shock, especially when you have the chain lightning shock, you can spray the Coom and a bunch like around a room, and spray the Coom around the room, and
Nice.
then all of a sudden shock one person, it chains to like 3 other people,
Yeah.
and lights up not only the Coom that is attached to those enemies, but all of the Coom on the floor as well. So I'm like going full blown Raiden, like just electrocuting everything around the room. And
Yeah.
you can also, if you use the canisters, the cartridge attachments for every weapon that you can do. It is an upgrade that you have to purchase, but it's usually a pretty inexpensive one for every
Yeah.
weapon.
I started using
And
it
you can
super late because I didn't really understand. And the thing is, I didn't feel the need to actually use it because I was already wrecking everything. It's like, I don't even know if I need this upgrade now. That somebody just tried it. And it's like, oh, you just put it in and then you just get it. It's like, oh, it's actually pretty neat.
You know where it's really effective? When you fight the first kind of carnage thing, because fire hurts that thing badly, and the only cartridge blue I had was fire.
So I luckily bought the Fat Boy like right before that because like I want the explosion.
Is it like the Fat Boy in Fallout? Is it a nuclear rocket launcher?
It's basically a grenade launcher, I would say.
Oh, okay.
It's like grenade rockets, I think it calls it, or something. And you can basically just stun lock it until it dies because it always falls over when you hit it. So you shoot.
Oh, see, I thought it was immune to guns. That's interesting.
Yeah, but when you hold Alt and check, it's actually it's weak to explosions. Because I started melee fighting and then I think the glove says, "Hey, you can check the thingies with the Batman view." And it's like, oh, explosions. But you just told me I'm not allowed to use guns. You specifically told me to use melee, you bastards. So I just started using my grenade launcher. It's like, oh, shit, this deals a lot of damage and also just makes it fall over every time. So I'm just gonna keep shooting.
Yeah, I wasn't even throwing my hand grenades. I basically used no explosives the entire thing.
Wait, do you even have... I don't think you have hand grenades in the game.
Are there? I mean, it seemed like I was picking up grenades, or I guess
no, those are like
boy,
boosts. There's like adrenaline boosts and something, and energy refills.
Oh, okay.
The only grenade you see in the game is the one that Dr. Filova throws at you.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I guess it might have just been the Fat Boy shells then. I guess, or the rockets. I mean, I know that I never used them either way, so maybe they weren't. But
I had so much I had so much resources because the way I play, because I started playing the game basically when it started. It started when it came out, like the next day when I was done with work, and I looked at everything. I had so many resources. I don't know. I had so many shotgun shells and MP bullets. I didn't use both of those weapons, so it just kept stacking up. It's like, oh, I need Kalash ammo, so I'm just gonna get rid of all this ammo and just buy this ammo for this. It's like, okay. Yeah, if you play with a bit of more exploring, you get a ton of resources. Apparently even on Armageddon. I think James has been playing on the hardest difficulty, and he's been getting a ton of resources as well.
I started the game on the highest difficulty, and man, it was rough, especially at the beginning when even just the basic enemies take a lot of hits from the... What do you have at the beginning? Anyway, it's like a pipe. You have like kind of a shitty basic, or is it an axe?
Yeah, you have the axe, and I think you only have the axe in the beginning.
Oh, really? Maybe that's what you have. I guess I switched.
Oh my god.
Jeez. Yeah, see, I told you this would happen. So for everyone wondering, the screaming in the background, my wife X-Ray Girl is playing Sons of the Forest with Jane Theory and Quarter Black Garrett on her channel. But if you want to watch, just so you have context on X-Ray Girl screaming, just please put her in a tab and mute her because you'll hear her on my end.
Nice.
Yeah, no, she
this game has escaped again.
I think Sons of the Forest has been scaring her more than Dead Space was, actually.
Good stuff. But yeah, that's But yeah, before we go more into gameplay, because I want to use your super duper fresh memory because you just finished the game. Uh,
Mhm.
so actually, after I finished, I took like a night, and today, I actually started watching some videos where people started to putting all the story bits into order, and I think I kind of made sense of the story as to what is going on. I don't think it still makes a whole lot of sense for the most part. But you know what? I just want to hear, what do you think what happened?
Okay, so I mean, granted, the details I'm super fuzzy on. So this is probably not going to be an ultra accurate read, but it seems that first of all, I had no idea what was going on for like the first 4 hours of the game, and it was
Yeah.
just like, okay, I don't know, it's a alternate history, Soviet Russia, and there's robots. I don't understand what the robots are. There's also a goo. I can swim in the goo, but the goo doesn't move. It's like freestanding goo that you can swim through like water. There's a lot that is very, very strange. But effectively, I think what is explained is that there is a technology that's basically a hive mind called the Collective being made by a Russian scientist who is one of the prominent Soviet scientists, or not Russian necessarily, but Soviet scientists of the post World War II Soviet Union, which is a world in which the Soviet Union was the primary superpower to emerge from World War II,
Hmm.
and they create this collective, effectively, machine that is a hive mind that's transmitted with this goo. The goo is then put into shells that kind of look like crash test dummies, and or no, the crash test dummies are they're not actually filled with goo. They're actually just automatons that I believe the Russians have made and put all over the world as effectively slave labor. But there's like an iRobot type thing going on where the Russian scientist who's running the thing called the Collective that's thought I sound like I'm insane trying to explain this.
That's
But yeah,
that's fine.
basically it's communism in which they want to distill your brain into a computer and allow you to connect and disconnect from the hive mind at will with this little mind thing. And there's some twists towards the end that involve that I guess we should probably discuss in more depth as we're discussing the ins and outs of what happens later in the story. But yeah, it's kind of got a Chernobyl type vibe to it, where part of the reason why all of this went to hell is that Soviet red tape kind of makes it so that no one can build things properly, and everything will eventually collapse and go wrong. I don't know. Was that just me? Maybe I just don't like communism.
What? How dare you?
Well, I guess being on YouTube, that is a spicy take.
Wow, just trying to get me off the platform of saying stuff like, no, just kidding.
I know capitalism is a charged word.
Capitalism. That's great. Um, so yeah, what do you what is your assessment of the ending? Just maybe in a few
I
words.
thought it was the second ending that I got, like the one that I'm guessing the canon ending because that's the one that actually involves the boss fight.
Well,
Yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting. Actually, someone was O Snakes was calling it in my chat earlier that he was saying it's kind of like the movie Upgrade, where like the AI that's been your buddy the entire time turns out it's like, oh yeah, by the way, I was just trying to get you to put me in a position where I could effectively enslave humanity. So yeah, this is what your communism has given you, comrades. I rule the world now. Fuck you, humans.
right.
Interesting. Like, I mean, it's like there's not nothing going on in the story. It's not bad in the strictest sense. It's told oddly, and
Mm-hmm.
it's very, very weird. And it's definitely kind of a tough one to recommend in a lot of ways. But yeah, I mean, I think this is kind of like High on Life in a way, not like in a functional way, but in the sense that it's a first person shooter on
Mm.
Game Pass that I would probably recommend people don't buy, but would recommend you take the time to play on Game
Yeah,
Pass.
if you have
'Cause,
that's my take as well. If you have the Game Pass anyway, go check it out. Don't buy it for full price.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun, but man, it is a weird one. It is a really weird one. So yeah, I guess I just start because it's kind of interesting. So you basically go to the big old floaty island in the sky is where the big parade is that you mentioned, and they have like
I
session
wonder
up.
if that is a conscious reference to another series.
No, they basically never reference BioShock in this game.
What? What's BioShock?
I don't know. What bio who? Oh yeah, maybe I have the characters written down here. So we are Major Nachayev, or P3 as the code name. It's the main character. We basically do whatever Sechenov tells us because he saved our life during the war, and our character basically thinks he only has our best interest in mind. Then we got Charles, which he says to us is the robot librarian something. It's basically your glove that talks to you throughout the game. And yeah, spoilers, of course. So we get to know him as just a glove AI, but it's actually the mind of Chariton Sakharov, which was Sechenov's friend and fellow polymer researcher who was presumably murdered by Sechenov, which ends up not to be true as well, I think. Because there's also things peppered through the story where I'm still kind of not sure what actually happened. Yeah, then we got Dmitry Sechenov. That's our boss. That's the boss man we do shit for. He's the one who discovered the polymer in 1936. So in the wartime tisms.
Someone discovered the goo before Fringy.
Yeah, he must be so upset about this. He's gonna be so pissed when he finally plays the game. And yeah, he led a group of scientists who at some point successfully launched a collective 1.0 system, which is already in place, which basically combines robot assistants into a controlled network, and then you can make them do shit. Then we got good old Michael Stockhausen. Yeah, I can use my German on my channel, say his name correctly. He's basically Sechenov's lackey. I would describe him. He just goes around, does shit for him, but he seems to be pretty well liked overall in the system, from what I understand. He's a German scientist, headed to the USSR after the war, so to the search of knowledge and opportunity. Then we got Petrov. He's quote unquote the bad guy during this, kinda.
I guess. I mean,
because the thing, so he worked as a researcher.
Who's the good guy? That's kind of the
so it's the thing. In the game's logic, Sechenov is the good guy. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think there's particularly a good ending necessarily.
I mean, that's what I was thinking.
I think the game in the game's logic, it's the death of all of humanity or letting them attack the USA. I think that's the two options you get here.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Let Russia destroy America or humanity dies.
Yeah. Those are basically the two options at the end. They don't give you a good resolution. You just kind of have to infer and figure out what happens.
Well, let's hand the keys over to the AI, I say. Ride this bitch right into the rails. At least it'd be an interesting way to go out.
Yeah. But yeah, Petrov, he worked as a researcher at Facility 3826. This is the whole place we are at the game. He began his career at the facility in that, what was it? The theater. While they were doing like big upgrades, he started working there. We go visit that theater where he's going a bit nuts and just wants to have sex with all the robots, I guess.
I mean, can you blame him?
No. I mean, robot sexuality is actually in the game, basically.
Yeah, referenced by name.
where they have basically theater is also a pimp house for robots. It's like all the big guys are just like, yeah, this was a nice play, but can we now go, you know? But yeah, and then the head of the facility really liked the programmer. He appreciated his work and pragmatism, and that led him to be assigned to a leading position in the scientific team, where he helped the development of the Collective 2.0 neural network. And he's also the one who launched a combat program in the Soviet Union, which is why all this bullshit happens to us.
Yeah.
And which was not supposed to happen in the grand plan, but it did. And I guess the other important character, I say important, she's not there for long, but she does the exposition dump at the end, so I guess she's kind of important.
She's important a little bit at the beginning, and then really important for 20 minutes at the end.
Yeah. So that's Dr. Larissa Filatova. We just call her Larissa, who cares? She's like a neurosurgeon and an employee at the Academy of Consequences. This is where we also go. She's known for intelligence or something. I could tell. I just copy pasted that from that wiki entry I found, because that
She's
doesn't.
known for intelligence.
Yeah, because I didn't.
Sounds like something from Team America.
That might have been in some database, but I definitely just copy pasted that. But yeah, after her mentor died, which is Sakharov, she continued to work on integrating humans and machines into the Collective 2 network. And she basically tells you at the end what Sechenov has done to you and gives you more thingies. So yeah, those are basically the characters you need to know. There's some other ones, but they just die, I think. Doesn't matter. So yeah, we're on the floaty island. Sechenov is just kind of doing his little parade thingy. We just kind of look around. It's like, oh, this looks pretty and cool and all that good stuff. But basically, Sechenov at some point is like, hey, there's some shit going wrong down at facility 3826. Can I go check it out? The robots are going kind of cray. And he sets you in your little flying Trabant, and you go down there. This is also where you first see the twins. And yeah, basically, as I already said, Petrov started the combat programming, and you have to find him. And the first half of the game is basically you trying to get him. You just kind of chase him around. Like, you go to this one place and you don't get him. Apparently, it looks like he gets killed by robots, but he's not actually getting killed by robots. He just kind of tricks you that he was decapitated by them. So you're just kind of like, oh shit, I failed. So yeah, you go to the VDNH. I don't actually know what that stands for. They just call it VDNH. They might tell you the full name, but it doesn't really matter that much. This is where we go next, because one of the ministers, specifically Minister Molotov, learned about the issue that is going on. He's like, Sechenov, you're being a bit sus. We're gonna come check it out and see that you're up to no shenanigans. You might say it's all good, but we ain't gonna believe you that easily. So basically, games is trying to say, oh, they probably don't even know what's going on with the whole collective thingy, and that is going haywire. So you basically your mission is in the VDNH. Here's this one assistant robot. You need to start the military drill. So they just kind of keep everything in check, and Molotov is not going to be sus at Sechenov again. So you just basically make it in time. This is like one of the big dungeons. You go around and reassemble one of the robots. So you have two of them, and then they do the little oogly boogly robot magic, and they start some kind of drill that helps. I actually don't know what it actually does, because you do it, and then right after you do it, Molotov arrives. I actually don't know what it did specifically. If it's just keeping some robots in check or something, I don't know. If someone in chat remembers, please enlighten me, because I just looked at it and was like, I don't know what it did. You just do it, and then After that, you go to Candyland and Limbo. So yeah, I don't. That's your mission, and apparently it helps enough to keep Molotov in check for a little bit. Or it would, because Sechenov wants to talk to Molotov in private. And yeah, before that happens, you go to Crazy Candyland, which we get to know as Limbo, that we got put into. Also, Mark, just throw yourself in if you have anything to say while I go through this. It's just
Candyland was as delicious as it sounds.
You even get to collect some apples.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically
Nature's candy.
This is the part of the game where you're just like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, no, like, well, does that part end?
Mm.
Does the part where you're thinking, what the fuck is happening, end in this game?
Yeah.
I'm not sure it does.
I mean,
it gets a little more clear, but it's always a bit of a wild ride.
It is what it is. Yeah, so basically, you get a big old white screen. You wake up and there's like, I guess war happening, but it's all kind of suspended in time. And there's you're some kind of furry creature, I guess a bunny, or something. And you go around, look at all these things, and for some reason you collect apples in that first one. Not in the other ones that happen, but you do that one. I collected all of them and got an achievement for it. I don't know if they did anything else.
I was thinking that maybe there would be. Because I left a couple behind and was thinking, yeah, I guess there's probably an achievement if you get all of them.
Yeah, I got one. I actually got the achievement before I collected the last one, so I think the achievement actually might have the wrong number in it. So I don't know.
Oh.
But yeah, I collect them all. I don't know if that actually did anything. What I did notice though, all the way at the end, you go into Limbo again, right? And you see like the one ballerina twin reach out to you. In my playthrough, I'm pretty sure there was like a scream happening. And I don't know what that was. It didn't happen for you, and it didn't happen in the other videos I watched. So I actually not sure what happened there for me. Need to go back and...
It's because you got the apples?
Maybe? I don't know, but I don't know why. It just doesn't... Because I'm pretty sure I remember like a scream happening. Unless there was a ghost in my house while that happened. I was like, oh, that's weird. That was probably in the game.
That is always a possibility. Assuming that there are ghosts, most of us have never seen one. Which
That's
means
true.
We've probably interacted with one. We just have not been able to see one. So.
Yeah. Just remember, all those ghosts see you wanking off in the bathroom every time.
Yeah.
And they can't do anything to stop you.
Yeah, but you know what you can do to stop them? Just eye lock them. Make them uncomfortable. Just be like, yeah, that's right. I see that you're looking.
I can confirm
Maybe
the scream, but I was also in Metal's house. Oh, okay, yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Someone else says there was 100% a scream. Yeah, so, yeah, I didn't see that in your playthrough happening just now. And the long play, I checked to just see the endings again. Or just when I watched ending videos on it. There was none, so I don't know what's up with that. Was the screams of the ghost in the washer that you clearly killed last year in your basement? Oh, yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, we go through this Candyland. You just kind of have to do some platforming, I guess, and you can collect apples if you want to. And you kind of
just like a 3D platformer. You're jumping on clouds and stuff.
So you kind of go into the limbo thing, and you kind of go through it, and yeah, as James you said. So yeah, P3 goes to one. That's when the glove takes over. Yeah, I don't know if the glove takes over, but your character gets to put into combat mode, and just goes on an absolute rampage. Apparently, we never get to see that, but that's apparently what happens. So when we wake up, everyone is dead, including the minister. And of course, you survived. And when you ask, "Oh shit, Seshna, what happened?" He says, "Oh, it was a robot, and you're lucky you survived." And this is already like, I was a bit like, okay, so we killed them all, and some shenanigans are going on. I got it. Yeah, I should probably mention, Sechenov before this wasn't in the room. He was on like a hologram portable thingy that was like rolled in. So he wasn't there, and I guess he just was on his way to... Right, because Molotov says, okay, fine, we can talk. I'll meet you here in 15 minutes. So I guess he was on his way, and when he arrives there, everyone is already dead, and you're unconscious on the floor.
Yes.
So yeah, I guess if you played video games or consumed media before, you're as the player already goes. It's like, oh, that was me. That was my character. there's no way anything else happens. Yeah, chat. Guy says something inconvenient. You black out. Guy dead. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a time-honored trope.
It is. Yeah. So and then Session was like, man, that's fuck. I mean, this is actually kind of bad because if they not only find out that shit went wrong here, but also a minister died, the Politburo is gonna be all up our asses. So for now, we're just gonna have to get rid of the body. And then we go into Metal Gear Solid Hideo Kojima mode and see the ceremony of getting a body dissolved. Because basically it's the thing. I think there was like a trailer. It's part of the trailers where you see the ballerina twins just do their thing and just rip something out of their chests or their torsos. And what it does, it's like a key that they have inside one of them, and then they split it, and then they put it in the thing, and then a big red polymer goop monster comes out. And just
none of it is directly sexual, but it's all hypersexual.
It's very lewd.
Yeah, it's you're just like I'm not sure how to define porn, but this is it.
But this is it. So yeah, they do that, and they basically just completely assimilate the body, and we get to know what basically happens is it gets integrated into this neuropolymer network with all the mind stuff. So I think what happens is they still get to use his consciousness and mind, but the body doesn't exist anymore. So they still have the knowledge of Molotov. I don't think that goes into the story necessarily. It doesn't matter that they have that, at least not for our point of view. But this is basically, I guess this is just to set up like, hey, we can do that because we later use that to get Petrov's mind checked out so we can have the codes for the combat programming to be shut down. So yeah, this is like the part of the game where people go like, what the fuck? This game is insane. And yeah, in general, throughout all these missions, your glove, Charles, which we get to know is actually Sakharov, who very knowingly died at some point, and no one really knows what happened. He just starts asking questions about, that's suspicious. Why would Sessionov do this? Wouldn't this actually be kind of good for Sessionov? Didn't he go this? And blah, 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 blah. And our protagonist is basically like, no, I'm naive soldier man. He has my full trust. He saved my life, and he would never do that. And then throughout the game, he just kind of like, oh man, this is actually kind of fucked a little bit until the end of the game. But throughout the game, he's just kind of like, no, it's fine. He knows what he's doing. Even though the information that he gets is like kind of like, you would probably go, that's kind of weird.
Don't worry about that guy. We need the story to happen.
Yeah, because our character is pretty naive, and he trusts him to death. Which
thought we were having an action movie over here.
Yeah, and I think the game makes it pretty clear. Our character is very cool with the idea. Oh yeah, I'm cool with them giving all these robots to the West and to the US specifically, so we can do the Atomic Heart Project, which is the overtaking of the US. As long as he does, but he's probably not going to do any shenanigans. He's not going to kill any civilians or something. There's like a little conversation here and there. It's like, but then civilians get killed. You know that. You're a major. You've been in war. It's like, yeah, but if the robots are programmed, they don't kill any robots. They don't kill any civilians. And it's like, okay, you're thinking very basic here.
Our hero is not the brightest.
Not really, no. The Protect pissed me off so much before delivery trusting he is, like, unreasonably so, very one note. Yeah, especially considering he barely remembers the last year or something. Like, he just only remembered the last couple of years, because during the war, he got injured, so he has, like, legit brain damage going on. And he got saved by him, but he doesn't remember anything from before this. And this is part of one of the 17 twists that we get during the end. Like this,
Yeah,
this game is like
there's
an
a
absolute
few.
twist apocalypse. Shyamalan would be proud. It's absolutely insane. We'll get there. I have them all written down. At least all of them I could remember. It's a
I'm willing to
lot.
bet I forgot a few. 'Cause-
I have a list
Yeah,
just with
there
the twists. It's pretty funny. So yeah, this is like always going on while you just do your puzzles and stuff. The glove is constantly talking to you, and you get all. This is a big problem of the game. They give you all these exposition dumps while you do other shit, and you're just like, I heard you, but I didn't take any of this in. Like, this is way too much. This is nuts. And they do this at the end as well, when you get like all the shit that's been going on. So right.
Yeah, it is certainly a game in which things occur and then other things occur, and it's not often clear as to whether or not the people writing it were intending any of it, I guess.
Yeah. I feel like this game should have focused much more on the gaminess. Because the most fun in the game I had when there was like hordes of enemies and I could just rip them apart while the sick music is playing. And just like, I'm gonna use my telekinesis to let 10 enemies float, and then I'm gonna smash them into the ground, and whoever's still alive gets zapped. I was like, good shit.
Yeah, and I thought that while some of the puzzles were okay, none of them were like awesome. Like it wasn't like I was like, oh man, this is a really clever puzzle. Like wow, I see this really came together. They introduced some mechanics and they got utilized in some really like it was all just okay. I got to kind of figure out this. I guess shooting the magnets with your shock, which would flip the blue and red magnet things around, and that would make some platforms elevate and lower.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, you're just shooting the ceiling, and it's making some platforms move.
Yeah.
It's not really that crazy. It's just they kind of present it in a way that looks a little bit more impressive. I guess the rooms, the rotating rooms, like the kind of spinning room. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know how to better explain it. Oh, where you have
we have
switches that you hit and then
they rotate.
Sections of a room rotate. That one was kind of cool, I guess. But for the most part, a lot of the puzzles felt to me kind of like early 2000s first-person shooter puzzle designs, but like not necessarily great ones. Have you ever played Duke Nukem Forever?
I never. That's one of the meme games I want to stream at some point, just for the meme alone, because I actually never did.
I mean, like it's probably not quite. Oh my god, actually, it's probably not quite as bad as you've heard. At the same time, like because there are some like kind of creative things with like you spend a lot of the game shrunken down, like Toy Story size. It's something I bet you a lot of people didn't see coming. But there's plenty of puzzles that seem like, hey, these developers definitely played Half-Life 2 recently. You know? Like, or it's like they're not necessarily Half-Life 2 physics puzzles, but they seem like, you know, B-grade knockoff kind of. Hey, here's developers who are not quite as good as the people who made Half-Life 2 trying to do Half-Life 2 puzzles. Or like Portal, I guess, you know, like it was around that same era that those games were coming out.
Yeah.
It really reminded me of this.
Yeah, that's fair. So yeah, basically P3 is like, I don't want this to be true. You just shut up. You're being sus as fuck, but shut up, glove. So yeah, and then you wake up, you do your thing, that you get to see the ceremony, and then you tell Session Petrov, he got killed by a robot. It's like, did you see him? It's like, yeah, I saw his body. It's like, only his body? Like he's basically only his head or something, he says. Was quite a weird line, but he thinks he might be still alive and tricked us. And Stockhausen is like, he's probably one of these computer centers or something. And then you go there, and it's weird because they overwhelm you, they strap you in, and you just get to talk to them for a little bit. Them being Dr. Larissa and Petrov. which are a couple, but not for long, because after the scene they broke up.
Yeah. There's a lot of characters are introduced and developed quickly.
Well, they
And
get introduced, they do something, and then they vanish for hours.
yeah. It's hard to track who's who and what exactly their role is.
Yeah. Somewhere in here
this
you
game.
also meet Granny Xena, who's kind of a funny character. I think she's kind of funny. And then, yeah, right before you enter the one of the first dungeons, she's like, I'm killing all the things. And then she just vanishes until the end of the game. You kind of just wake up at her and you get like the end decision. But yeah, so we we go wherever they tell us to go. Some weird computer center, some building, and the first building you get to, he actually is there, which is kind of lucky, I guess. It's kind of weird. Normally they let you go through like multiple buildings and check them out, but he's like, no, the first one is the correct one. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, you find him, and when you do, you start to learn. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, all these robots, they already had combat modules and combat programming in them. That was on purpose, obviously because of the atomic heart program. So
dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, and you're like, what? That's crazy. Because they're supposed to be civilian robots, and everyone, like, I think even during the game, P3 is like, why do they have like lasers and stuff? And I think the glove tells you, oh, those are probably to measure things and stuff. And it's like, what?
Yeah. Range finding lasers.
Range finding lasers.
Like range finding lasers that like slice steel. Like what the hell?
Yeah. So yeah, we learn that those are actual combat modules, and later on we learn that's because they want to be shipped into the US, and then we can take over the US. So yeah, the reason Petrov actually started the combat mode is to show that the simple malfunction could make that happen, so the robots would be yeeted out, which would benefit the working class, because the working class is pissed that all those people in higher positions are starting to get rid of workers and replacing them with robots. And that's also the reason why the US put sanctions on these robots to limit the amount of units the Soviet Union could import at a time. Of course, knowing now that the atomic heart program is the overtaking of the US, which also includes the robots being in there, being placed in different strategic positions like power plants and military stations where they do this automatic stuff. They just get activated into combat mode, have all these things, they get taken by surprise, and all those strategic positions are taken out immediately. Which also is where Collective 2.0 I said it again.
2.0. It's
2.0 comes in, and because apparently this allows them to activate the robots without radio waves is the idea. And now that the sanctions are in there, that halts the progress, so it takes way longer. So yeah, that's the thing. That's just some more background for the whole atomic heart program. So yeah, what else? There's like a manifest as well, right? When you get to the last boss fight, you see that there's like a manifest of the atomic heart project right before you enter it. For some reason, it's in Russian, no matter what your version is set to. But apparently, when you translate it, that's what I heard online. I had no means to actually prove that. I don't know how I would be able to just translate all of it. I guess I would need to find the file or something. I don't know. So yeah, apparently this has like all the steps for the Atomic Heart Project, which only mentions Collective 2.01. But there's also a list of employees, I think. And there's some high stakes people in there. So basically, the Soviet Union knew about the Atomic Heart project and what was going on, but they didn't know how crazy this combat programming could go, and that a malfunction would be able to wreak that kind of havoc in the Soviet Union, which it wasn't supposed to, but Petrov just did it because he could. Remember, he was like one of the scientists, so he had the codes to do so. So yeah, we learned that, and Dr. Larissa learns that Petrov did this on purpose, and she didn't know that he did that, so, and she's like, bastard, and then she goes away.
Yep.
Oh yeah, by the way, the reason why we're so hard, we're trying so hard to get him. At this point, they were trying to broadcast the information about the combat mode to the to the Westerners, to the US. So yeah, because you wonder, it's like, wait, why would they do that? Why would they betray the Soviet Union when they were like deep into all these programs and whatnot? So yeah, because they found out the thing we learned about later, and I won't take it away because it's like the biggest part at the end. I'm just gonna set the stage here, because the interesting part is when everything comes together and you just think like, yeah, okay. So yeah,
And I think that enough of the story and the elements do kind of come together that you feel like there is something going on, and that you get at least an understanding of what the story sort of is.
I mean, I did when I went back after I finished the game and tried to make sense of it. While I was playing the game, I had no fucking clue what was going on.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I think though that, like, I mean, you I guess you understand, okay, collective hive mind thing taking over, world ending, must stop. Like that base premise is kind of simple enough to carry you through a lot of the confusion. Like, I guess maybe it's just because it's so,
yeah. Wasn't there something about polymer
like,
injections? Yeah, so people got polymer injections so they could, with Collective 2.0, and I think to a degree with 1.0, I'm not sure, but definitely with 2.0, because the reason for 2.0 is that the robots get connected with the humans, so the humans could control them with their minds. So they could just go like, hey, go mow the lawn, hey, give me a head, or something, whatever your robot does. And that's why they get the injections. And why not both? Do the lawn and then give me head.
Yeah.
And then yeah, but the whole injection thing comes back in later with the whole human enslavement thingy. But I'll get there. We're getting kind of close-ish, because the the dump is the end. The thing is, everything that happens in between, there's like things that you can find in like these corpses, because they have these neural links on their head that you get introduced to in the beginning of the game. And for some reason, they can still broadcast your memory consciousness because of the polymer stuff until it runs out. So you can talk to some of the corpses, and they give you a little bit of info. So yeah, Larissa fucks off. It's like, you're mean, I don't like you anymore. And Petrov...
It was so bizarre when you first start talking to them too. They're like, "Oh my god, am I dead?" And it's like, what's going on here? Like, is that a robot on the ground? And then you realize, oh no, it's a person.
Yeah.
They just have a little AI assisted probe on their brain that's accessing their thoughts, and
Yeah.
they're not alive, but their brain's functioning enough that they can still kind of think enough to create words. They just don't have control over a body that can say the words with vocal cords, but their speaker can say it. So.
Yeah, it's like at some point the glove tells you, it's like, oh yeah, it's like their last strongest memory or something, and that gets broadcasted over this. But then they also have like, you have like proper conversations with them, so I guess they still have like consciousness. It's really weird. But that's
but also, I mean, we're limited by it being a video game too, so it's like, do they only have a few thoughts because that's how this technology works in the lore, or because they're video game NPCs and like, they're only gonna say a few things. So what do you expect?
It's
like,
like a
well, I don't
dumb
know.
version of
What's the
Soma.
answer there? I guess yeah, it kind of is. Spoilers for. Oh
Yeah.
wait, hold on. We're not spoiling Soma.
No, we're not spoiling.
Okay.
Anyone in chat, if you
Have
haven't
you
played
played Soma
Soma,
or is
I played Soma in
okay?
twice
Oh,
already.
okay. So
Uh,
because I have a trend of accidentally spoiling shit that I don't realize I'm not supposed to. So I'm just making sure. Yes,
no,
Jojo.
Soma's awesome. Soma's fantastic.
Yeah, it is good. I recommend.
So yeah, and then Petrov just lets you lie there, I guess, and runs to the theater he worked in that I mentioned earlier. And we just go to catch up to him there. We do the little theater puzzle dungeon thingy. And when we catch up to him, oh yeah, this is where the whole robosexuality thing comes in, where we start to figure it's like, oh, they're not doing like little plays here. They also have like some sexy times here with the robots because they have sexy robots, even though the faces are looking fucked up. So I don't know, maybe they put
Well,
some.
I mean, but the ballerina robots at least they just have no face.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh right, they have the ballerina robots. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, the faces of the crash test dummy robots though. You don't. Trust me, the faceless ballerinas are the better looking.
Yeah. BBD bobbity boo. Hang on, just need to check something. Yeah, you catch up to him, and he's like on the stage, and he at this point he just went full nut, like he's full nutcase now. He's just citing poetry at you, and goes like, "Ah, you like that, you dog? Ah, I'm gonna kill you." And he's like full insano mode now, and well, when you catch up to him, he says some more insane stuff. I don't recall him actually saying anything super important here. But this time he actually kills himself. With one of those robot thingies because we see it. So he's like decapitates himself with one of these robots. And you're like, God damn it, I fucked up again. Like P3 is like really upset that you like fucks up all the time because he really wants to make his daddy proud, I guess.
Yeah. As you do.
It's like, shit, I fucked up again. I failed again. He killed himself. It's like, yeah, okay, but is his head still there? And it's like, yeah, I'm looking right at it.
All right, then we're in business.
Yeah, oh, okay, no problem. It's all we need. I'll send a jar. Just put it in there and then bring it to us.
Jar
like,
on the way to you right now.
Then he gets like one of these little robots to bring you a jar. By the way, I'm not sure how he controls that robot to bring it, so it brings it to you. Because I guess that should be in combat mode as well. I don't know. It's just that's just something I noticed. It's like, oh, I guess he can control that one. Maybe he used the little remote control and he could use that himself. So yeah, you put his head in a jar, and then a big old thick ballerina. Well, big dancing bot, a thick one, like a big robot.
Yeah, opera singer kind of.
Yeah,
the fat lady singing. Singing fat lady at the theater.
Yeah, and then you have like the little boss fight there. And then you have to bring the head to Sechenov and Stockhausen, and that way you can absorb his brain juices, and that gives you the codes to stop the combat mode. What's this James saying? Some robots are connected to a 1.0 and other are connected to 2.0. Any that have been connected to 2.0 are the crazy ones, apparently. Oh, okay. That's another detail I didn't catch. I'm sure there's like a shit ton of details that you can get, but it's like weird. They have a really a large amount of like text things you can read, and I read them for a while, but it's almost like there's not enough really interesting ones in here that make me want to keep reading them. So just start skipping them. It's like, it wasn't interesting to read. Some of them was just like, oh, this happened today, Lamau. It's like world building.
Yeah, I know. Especially after Dead Space, where like all the notes were like, man, I want to read every single one of these. Like this game was like
yeah.
It was like, sure are a lot of robots around here, aren't there?
Yeah, I'm sure there's a bunch of them that give you some good information. especially the ones at the end when you get your reveal what actually happened to you. There's a bunch of terminals in there, but at that point I was just so over the terminals. I was like, that's like 15 in here, and I want to finish the game. At that point I was like streaming for 7.5 hours, and I was like, it must be end soon, right?
I hear you.
So yeah, they get the head info, get the codes, and oh yeah, I should also mention, I almost forgot. So throughout the game, there's mention of some rings. There was like, hey, did he had some rings on him? And Petrov actually gives you these two rings that have been hinted at the whole time. But even P3 at this point doesn't know who he can trust. So it's like, no, I don't have them, even though you got them. So yeah, the short version is those rings give, those two rings specifically give certain privileges in the Collective 2.0. So idea in Collective 2.0 is, according to our main character, everyone was supposed to be the same in Collective 2, so everyone could just concentrate on, I don't know, process of the human race, whatever. But there's one alpha ring, which Sechenov has, which he needs to start Collective 2.0 and set, like, the rules. Which means there's only one person in Collective 2.0 who can actively change the rules around. And they even have, like, some conversations like, oh, well, he's probably just going to destroy it after so no one can change the rules again. Which is, by the way, a terrible idea. You probably want to have one of those things. In case
seriously.
something fucks up. So I don't even know why our main character would make that suggestion. But anyway. So yeah, this is the alpha connector. The alpha ring who does that thing. Or alpha connector ring. They call these ones rings. I think the alpha one is just called alpha connector. And then you have the two beta rings, which is the ones you get from Petrov. And these allow robots to be connected to Collective, but they can't be controlled by any other one than the one who has the rings. So, and I think the idea is Sechenov wants to put those rings on the ballerina twins. So he still has the ability to have those for whatever. I don't know. I saw some other things flying around online when I was doing a little research. Some people said he initially intended to put those rings on P3 and, spoilers, your dead wife. Obviously, that's not a thing anymore. I guess you were still in the race, but I don't know what would have happened to the second one. So yeah, I don't know. But maybe it works on robots and humans, because someone chatted asked, I suppose people or robots. I think you can use it for both. I'm not 100% sure of that. The thing is, nothing happens with them. You just throw them away at some point. Literally, just throw them away into the ocean. So yeah, I'm not sure. They talk about them, and then somebody throw them away, probably. So Sechenov can't use them or something. I don't know. We don't really know. We don't really get a lot of information what he actually wants to do with them. I can just guess. But yeah, they basically give you a better standing in Collective. I don't know. We just don't get to be controlled by other people, except your owner or something. I don't know. It's a little bit confusing. So yeah.
You don't say.
I don't know, Mark. Do you got anything? I don't even know if you even have an idea about these rings at all.
No, you clearly have a much better grasp on most of this than I do, at least on the story. But yeah, no, I sort of got the impression that the rings were what give you control of the Collective, and essentially they just make you the communist dictator.
Right, the communist dictator.
Yeah.
That's a good.
That's sort of as deeply as I thought about them.
At least
okay, rings give you the keys to the control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. There's that. P3 doesn't tell anyone he has them, so only he and the glove know that he has them, because he doesn't know to trust. So yeah, you bring the jar to Sechenov and Stockhausen. They put it in the little absorby jar thingy. They start absorbing it, but then Dr. Larissa is back. Oh my god. I know, chat, for you it was like it was like 20 minutes, but in game it was like hours since we last saw her. She ran away, and then you do your stuff, and then she appears back here. I wonder how fast that goes if you don't do any side things. How fast did she reappear for you, Mark? It was probably like a couple of hours still.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Hold on a second. See if I can bring up. Oh, mouse dead. Oh no, looks like it's dying though.
Oh no.
I'm just gonna check what my final game time even was. I don't really think about how long through this.
Yeah. Apparently mine was around 20. It was like 20-ish hours. I think James said that it was around 20 hours.
Actually, does it not say on Game Pass?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not seeing my game time here.
I need
Maybe
a fucking whiteboard for this game. Oh, you
Oh,
do.
wait, no, there it is. Oh, no. This is how long to beat. I mean, oh, it's giving me the aggregate how long to beat scores in the Game Pass menu.
Right. Yeah, they put this in at some point,
how
which
long
I quite
played
like.
it. I mean, yeah, that is kind of nice, but I'm just like, yeah, how long was I playing this game for though? Like, that's one of the things I want to know on my Game Pass page. But,
Jose
yeah,
Gonzalez in chat. But they were, all of them, deceived. For another ring was made. In the land of Russia, in the fires of Mount Comrade, the Dark Lord Petrov forged in secret an alpha ring to control all others. And into this ring he poured his communism, his collectivism, and he will crush all capitalism. One alpha ring to rule them all.
Yeah, I mean, like, you'd have to be pretty authoritarian to crush capitalism.
It's true. Oh god. So yeah, you bring the jar there, Larissa gets there, and she throws the only grenade in the game at you and blows shit up, which lets the red polymer stuff escape. And that one grabs the unconscious, or I guess dead, Stockhausen. Can be both. He's dead afterwards for sure. And absorbs him as well. At that point, we go back to Candyland. And I actually don't know why. Because normally you get put into combat mode by the glove at this point when you're in Candyland. But here you just go unconscious and you still go to Candyland. But I don't know why we would go into Candyland at this point. Because when we wake up, it's just the aftermath of the explosion. There's no one to kill for us or for Sakharov.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
That's something that just came to me while I was watching. It was like, why are we even going to Candyland here? It's weird. Also, I guess...
Yes, I was operating on the level like, well, I'm fucking back in Candyland. Okay.
Yeah, doing some platforming in Candyland.
So yeah,
no
time
problem.
to jump on some clouds.
Yeah. There's also some dialogue that we can hear, which I think is between P3 and Sakharov. I actually did not write that down. To my shame. I don't know if it's that important, to be honest. It might be some memory stuff he has in his brain juices. I don't know. By the way, Limbo. Limbo is weird. So, the way it's supposed to be actually, we get there at some point. There's a better place to put that in there. Never mind. Keep that in mind, Chad. We'll go back really soon. So yeah, you wake up and Charles, the glove, Sakharov, whatever you want to call him, says that Stockhausen was yeeted into the bath by the explosion, which is weird because we see him lying on the ground. I assume he was dragged by the polymer in there, like Molotov was earlier. So I'm actually not sure what happened here now. Because if we went unconscious, the glove couldn't see what was going on. But then we go into limbo, where we normally go when we go into combat mode. But there was no combat to be had here. So yeah, I actually don't know what happened there while we were unconscious. Also, I guess I also don't know why Sessionov just let us lie there. Because we learn later that he's on our side, like he's pretty chill with us.
Yeah, that's good.
So I don't know why because this time he was actually there. Unless I just made that up in my brain, but I'm pretty sure he's here with the ballerina twins. Which part are you talking about? Oh, I mean the second Candyland part. I don't think I have the correct part up for this. Hang on.
Where you play as the little platforming koala.
Yeah. Where did my mouse disappear? Or my cursor, rather. Hang on. I think Mola's at that point now. That actually makes sense. Time-wise. Let's see. That was definitely part 4.
Oh, here we go. 31 hours is what my game time is.
Okay.
For 1 day and 6 hours.
Hang on. Let me go to my flames here. That's part 2. Hang on, chat. I'm just pulling up the correct part for this. Get rid of this.
I'm not on camera here, chat, but I assure you, I'm snuggling a puppy.
Oh god, now I need to find it in this large timeline. I mean, it's a part that is colorful, so it shouldn't be that hard to find. That's outside. Was it earlier? No. This is James' fault for making me search for it. Yeah.
Oh, James, I beat Dead Space on Impossible. I got the finger.
Nice.
And a finger bang bang.
Finger bang bang.
It is really funny hearing Gunnar Wright going pew 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 bang bang. Pew, pew. And it kills everything in one hit.
Oh, that's a theater. That's the lab. I'm getting close, chat. There it is. So, perfect. There we go. So, ba-ba-dee-be-dee. And then we go to this, get the right thingy, ok. And boom, we did it, Reddit. Too many voices. Wait, that's the horny robot. There we go, that's the cutscene going on in the background. I don't know why my cursor disappears when I have that open, but that's fine with me. Well, it's almost at the reveals. Yeah, so I have it on screen now. Let's see. Is Sessionov here? I think actually it's only Stockhausen. I think I just had that in my brain juices. Yeah, I think it's only Stockhausen here.
Well, I mean, I don't trust Germans.
That is a good choice. That is a very good choice. Sessionov is not here. There. Yeah, okay. So there we go. So never mind that question. But the question still is, there's no one else here besides Stockhausen and the ballerina twins. I guess the ballerina twins fuck off after the explosion. I think
they can fuck whatever they want.
They can, yes. But yeah, there's only Stockhausen. He's already getting absorbed by the polymer, and there's no one else here. So I don't know why we're going into Candyland. Do we go into Candyland as well when we just go unconscious?
Like, is it that he's dead? Like, that's sort of what I gathered by that ending. Is that like you die and then you're kind of going into heaven and you're seeing, ballerina lady, and heaven kind of looks like Candyland. Maybe I don't know. Like, it was a weird ending, but it seemed like he seemed pretty happy to be with ballerina lady. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a pretty thick booty.
Then they say the twins are always by the boss's side. Why are they here? I don't know. Maybe special security for Stockhausen. I guess they needed them for the activation of the of the goop vat, because they need to use these weird keys they have. So yeah, see there, he just gets eaten by the polymer already. Because what I assumed is we just got knocked out, but then for some reason we also get put into limbo by the glove, and I don't know why. I just don't understand why that happened. I just don't see a reason. Lazy writing. Well, it's weird. It would be, the lazy part would have been, oh, he got unconscious and then wakes back up, and now he needs to go to the next place. But I guess we get knocked out, and then we go to limbo to have a little breakdown or something. I don't know. I just don't really understand why we even go to limbo here. I don't know. The glove move your body afterwards. I don't really have a good understanding as to where we are and where we wake up. We're still in the same room that we went into, I think. Let's see. Let me go back. Now I'm curious. I mean, we have it right here. We can check it. So we have the flames going on here. Let's get heated. Then we go through Limboheimers. Okay, where do we wake back up? Oh god, my eyes. It's bright. And we wake up. No, we're just right next to the vat. This is where the goopiness happens. I think this should be the same place.
I said like the goop dissolved him.
Yeah, we're here. Yeah, I think the big closed door is where we came through, and then we move out through the back door. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the same place. So yeah, I have no clue. Goes into combat mode and dumps the German's body since he's suddenly in the tub. Well, I think he just got grabbed like Molotov did, like we saw earlier, because we see the polymer already approaching Stockhausen to grab it because it escaped because of the grenade. So it wasn't contained anymore, so just go grab Stockhausen. I don't think P3 had anything to do with that. So yeah, I'm not sure. I just find it really weird. Yeah, I don't know. I can't come up with a good explanation why we go to limbo here.
I'm not sure.
Hey, Chad, we got to do. There's gonna be an EFAB on Saturday. There's gonna be some more brains put together. Maybe we can figure something out there. But
yeah, I might spend the entire week consulting some secondary sources to see if I can make sense.
Yeah.
I think I'm still kind of confused by most of what I saw and experienced, for that matter.
Yeah. Yeah. Right after that, you get called by Larissa, and she's like, "Hey, are you all right?" And then P3 jokingly says, "No, I got killed by a grenade." It's like, funny. And she's like, "Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't want any of this to happen." It's like, sure, whatever. And she's like, "I have something to tell you. You better check it out. It's really important. Come to the lighthouse, and then I'll show you all the things."
Lighthouse. I wonder if that is a reference to
No, it's not. It's not like there's an elevator that goes down into an underground water place that they call a rapture. Oh shit,
rapture.
that's exactly what happens.
Oh,
and
boy.
the music is almost exactly the same as well.
Makes me want to replay BioShock. Maybe that's what I should do this week.
Yeah.
Or like replay Prey or BioShock or something and be like, okay, I have some context that I can bring to this EFAB.
Yeah. Obviously, BioShock, one of the main inspirations for the dev team, as far as I'm concerned. So they put this very obvious reference in there.
At least for the combat, yeah. But from a structural standpoint, this game is not really like BioShock at all.
No.
I mean, I guess it kind of is in the dungeon areas, like the puzzles.
Yeah, I can see the dungeon areas, but have this
There's no
weird.
hacking or anything. There's no you don't really have a lot of choice as to how you deal with most situations. It's kind of just solve a puzzle or
Yeah.
do combat in every area. It's not like, okay, well, if you want, you can hack a bunch of these things and then have the robots help you. And I guess, I mean, you can take down the hawk balloons and shut down the robots in an area. Have you ever done that? Did you ever do that?
Do what? I didn't quite.
So you see the balloons that are kind of floating around that
Right.
if you use the cameras at the terminals to unlock the little stations, you can have it, you can overload it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the balloon thing sinks to the ground and it deactivates every robot in the entire section for like a long time. Like
Okay.
basically until I think an indeterminate amount of time. But basically you can just basically you can explore the area freely.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Without combat.
So yeah, P3 is basically like, well, maybe she has something interesting to say. I'm gonna go check it out. And then you make your way there. You fight this big laser boy, who
I like this fight.
for some reason comes out of a whale. I don't know how that whale got there and why that robot was in there, but it burst out of there. And I think the dev just wanted the robot to come out of the whale.
Then is it? Do you think it's an Orphan of Cause reference?
Oh my god.
I mean, clearly these people like their references.
It's Orphan of Cause.
I mean, I don't know, like
I beat this guy a little bit faster than Orphan of Cause. Oh, by the way, while it's on screen. Oh god, hang on. So you see how
I like this fight, actually. It's a good
you see
fight.
the item that's floating there? This
Yeah.
one? So these are the neuro modules. Those are the rarest crafting items in the game.
one.
And someone in chat just asked, did you ever get a neuro module? No, I did not. And apparently there was a bug that people had that they apparently patched out since, which doesn't mean anything to me because I'm not going to play this game again anymore.
Yeah, I don't think I am either.
So basically what happened throughout the whole game, I couldn't get the best crafting item you get from all the bosses. You only get these from the bosses. You can't pick them up. You get all the other items from the corpse, and the neuro model just floats there, and it's non-existent. It's just floating there, which means I had all the recipes, right? I had all the upgrades, and I couldn't use some of the recipes. I couldn't build the railgun because you need one neuro module to build it, but I was never able to pick one up.
Which I had like all the neural modules that you can possibly get, but not a single recipe.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if I did. I wasn't really thinking about the neural modules much
Yeah.
because I hardly had any weapons.
Yeah, I wanted to put like a thermal visor or whatever that they called it on the Kalash. Couldn't do it. Needed a neuro module for that. So yeah, I got cucked out of some of the items, which I was really, really annoyed by. Yeah, I was really annoyed by that happening. It was really dumb. I hated it. So yeah, you fight the laser boy, and you're about to enter, but before that you get into an argument with Sakharov or the glove. I say both because it's probably very confusing if you just hear that. It's like, oh, you need to do something about the gloves, and P3 is like, man, you're fucking me really off with those stupid rings, so he just throws them into the ocean so no one can have them. Which I guess makes sense with P3's current knowledge. Like, according to with his knowledge, it's like, oh, these are gonna fuck something up, and I don't want anyone to have any special powers in the collective, so fuck these rings. Because he doesn't want anyone to have special access. Which I guess benefits Sakharov, because that would probably fuck over some of his plan, maybe. I'm not sure, but yeah, he wants that to happen. Which I guess the idea is that Sessionov doesn't use them on some of his robots or whatever, and doesn't have any interference with whatever his plan is in the end. What the other weird thing is, though, the glove mentions to you, I think it's in this conversation, that Sessionov is gonna check the logs and everything, and with the checkup, and then is gonna find out that you have the rings, so might as well get rid of them, so he can't do anything with them. But now he just threw them away. So if it would ever come to the situation that he gets checked up, they would just see, oh, he threw him in the ocean. I guess that's a bit annoying that we have to find them in the ocean, but we could probably find them. Like, there's a way for them to get them back. Molas of Lar is at a 4 out of 10 now. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably 5. I don't know. I think I could probably give it a 5. Maybe even 6. I mean, it's strange. Like, what am I talking about? Am I talking about the story or like?
I guess that's overall.
I don't know.
Overall.
Yeah. Combat's fun.
I like the combat. I'm having a good time with the combat.
Powers are cool. I guess that's all I got, really.
So yeah, he Sessionov, then you go to the thing, you get targeted by some robots, but they don't shoot you because Sessionov has the key now to stop combat mode, which he does. So he tells Sessionov tells us, oh yeah, I got the keys, go back, get a checkup, now take some time off, you deserve it. But you still decide to check out what Dr. Larissa has to say. So you go down the elevator, and yeah, you go down to Neptune, I think they call it, and it's a very, very not subtle Bioshock reference. You go into the lighthouse, go down an elevator, you see a basically a city kind of dealio in the water, and the music sounds like Bioshock, and they call it, oh, this is a rapture. It's like, oh, okay. Very, very subtle. Very, very subtle.
Yeah, it's
I'll get it for you, chat. There you go. I put it on the screen for you, chat. Ah, shit. Click. There you go. It's yeah. Bioshock Easter egg. An Easter egg in the main story. Would you even call it an Easter egg anymore? Yeah, it's just like, yeah, that's a reference.
Soviet Russia Easter eggs you.
But yeah, you go down, and why is my cursor keep disappearing? There we go. And then you get the big exposition dump as to what is going down here, and the existence of this place confuses me greatly.
Yeah, the cabin in the woods.
It's so this is the what do they call it? Something of consequences.
Oh yeah, no, I don't remember what the term for it. But it's basically where the people go who are stuck in limbo. Like
Not exactly.
Are.
Not exactly. So all the people that are down here were volunteers for the test of the collective, and all these people you just see right now on screen, they are all in limbo, and apparently Dr. Larissa has put herself into Collective 2.0 now, so she's able to control all of them. But for them, they're all in Limbo, which is their happy place, quote unquote. Thing is, if their happy place is like ours, this doesn't look very happy at all, because it's all like war and weird gory stuff and apples flying around. So yeah, Aswell just put in chat, they're basically empty shells. Even though technically they're all happy because they're in their little mind flames. Didn't she say she wasn't?
The whole deal that if you were made if you suffered brain damage which altered your functions to the point that you were very, very easily entertained by simple things, like you probably would actually be pretty happy.
Yeah.
Even if it's like, well, I'm just in a room. I'm in a room and the temperature seems to be stable. I guess it's kind of all these people really have going for them. But there's a bed, I guess. What if
Yeah.
some of the rooms have 2 people too?
Well, there's some that has like groups. She says like, oh, the group blah 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 all killed themselves. Group blah 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 killed the others. Group blah 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 killed each other. And then there's this one group who was successful that they're all survived or something. So yeah, they're all test subjects for this. And this is basically now it's like, yeah, this is why we try to stop Sessionov, because they still think he's the only one who is responsible for this, right? So because the idea basically is attacking the U.S. as the Soviet nation is one thing, but enslaving the whole world and taking away the people's freedom of will is a much larger issue. Which, as you know, what as like a thing in itself in isolation, I don't even think it's like that uninteresting thing to explore. It's like, oh, you can either do this horrible thing, make this happen, or you make this other much more horrible thing happen. So what are we gonna do?
I mean, well, that's c'est la vie, right?
Yeah,
Sometimes your choice is enslave the world or destroy it.
yeah.
Generally, your choices are better than that. Like on the day to day, most normal people don't have to deal with those 2 specific ones.
That's true.
But every so often, you find yourself between, all right, I have two distinctly different flavors of shitty to choose from.
Yeah.
Which one do I do?
But yeah, but P3 is not all the way convinced. So they go to the archive, where they check out all kinds of things. Specifically, the background of our boy here, our boy P3. And yeah, we learn a bit of his background. Basically, he was part of the Argantuan, I think they call it, special ops Wumbo Fleam, the Argentum unit, one of the thing. It's just some special unit, and he had like this life-threatening injury, and yeah, also his wife Katerina, codename Katya, was killed here, and they were both part of it, and they were both like special ops people, and yeah, they saved him, but the loss of his wife made him super aggressive all the time. So they basically put this new brain neuropolymer thing in his brain to basically make him forget everything before the war or during the war, or for whatever this injury specifically appeared. So they made them forget everything. And this is where his brain injury comes in, of course. Like, oh, that you made him forget all these things, including his wife and everything. And this is also where she says, yo, he put you into this combat mode this whole time. That was Sechenov, for sure. He remembers only his last 2 years. Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah, and she basically convinces him, it's like, yeah, Sechenov is up to no good. He wants to control all people, and our boy P3 is like, well, that's bad. I don't want that to happen. So he decides, now, yeah, let's go there and stop him, I guess. And they form this little plan, like, oh, you take me there as a captive, and then we, I don't know, play it by ear. I think he legit says that. So what confuses me now, though, is, does Sechenov not know about this underground place? Which can't be, because she says like Sechenov has.
Should.
This is also an archive, because
if he doesn't, then who does?
But she says Sechenov has entry here in this archive.
Mm-hmm.
So this was not built without his knowledge. It's not like a Sakharov only thing. So Sechenov still needed those human subjects to test things. let them even fight each other from time to time. So does Sechenov still needs this to start up Collective 2.0? And if so, why leave this completely unguarded? Why can't she just be here? I just don't understand. This whole place.
I don't have a single answer that can defend any of that.
This whole place doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why is this here? Why is this still running when we don't even need it anymore?
It seems to me like this was a good example of someone just really wanting a BioShock reference. Maybe wanting a bit of a Cabin in the Woods kind of deal where it's like, oh yeah, there's this underground thing in which there's these rooms that we can see all these different people that are, I mean, I guess I don't want to spoil Cabin in the Woods, but a horrible story happening because of this.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like they thought it out all that well.
Didn't she work? Yeah,
it seemed like the kind of thing that's like, whoa, oh my god, I never would have seen that coming. It's so crazy. But like, does it make sense? Probably not.
Isn't this part of Collective 2.0? I mean, it is, yeah.
It is.
But we're pretty good. We know Sechenov knows about this. So why doesn't he send like some people down here to check it out? This seems to be very important one way or another. What's more coincidental is that she can't enter the archive without the glove, which she didn't know was the guy who could get in. Yeah, she figures that out just right there because of the abbreviation. But yeah, so yeah, this is the test for 2.0, right? So the reason why she knows this, of course, is because she worked on it with all the other people. She had the password, didn't she? No, she doesn't. We're just lucky that the glove is Sakharov, so we can check this out. Yeah, this is just all weird to me. This is like possibly I don't know if it's only the test and we don't need it here anymore. Why are they still the people down here? Why didn't he get like rid of them now or let them free or whatever? Get rid of them, something. Like they're just all down here vegetating and possibly starving because there's no one else down here except us. So someone has to feed them, right? So
are they eating each other? Maybe I don't know.
I mean, some of them probably did.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure that the people who wrote this story thought that through.
She said the password was fluffy, right? Yeah, she said fluffy, but this is one of the parts I don't even really understand how she got to fluffy. Apparently it was because she was reminded of Sakharov, and that's like a thing. There's like a bunch of details I'm still fuzzy about after I've done some research. This area looks 20 years abandoned.
It's underestimating for me. There's plenty of stuff about this story that really was confusing. It's hyper convoluted.
This area looks 20 years abandoned, but the program is brand new, right? Yeah, this is like they've been working on it for a while. Some stuff you're fluffy about, yeah, pretty much. So yeah, I don't know if you can make sense of it if you read like all the other small details. And this is like another problem with the game in general. Like when they do all these exposition dumps to you, it gets really hard to follow because you're just kind of looking around, exploring,
a lot of information.
And then the glove and P3 just start talking about all kinds of random shit, and it's like, okay. As I said, like I heard you, but I didn't take in a lot of it. So
and and P3 will always kind of restate it as if it was like totally a reasonable explanation.
Yeah,
he'll be like, oh, so, and then he'll kind of do the Star Trek simple analogy thing. like putting too much air in a balloon, you know, like that kind of deal. Yeah. But it's not, that doesn't really clarify it all that much, at least for the audience. And it almost seems strange that he he understands everything so quickly. He just needs to be told all this stuff once. He's like, oh, that makes sense.
What happened in this archive room? It looks like it's been attacked, but isn't the station operational? See, this is like just another thing in general, like this is like a whole facility. It's supposed to be manned by a lot of people. And the way I understand it, the whole mishap with the combat mode going on just happened, right? Like hasn't been that long. But apparently every single one got killed except you and all the protagonist people that are running around. Like you don't see a single living person in here. It's all just random robots. Like you get to do the train robot, which is really funny.
Yeah, and I mean that also could just be limitation of scope for the game. Like maybe
Maybe.
they intended to have a bunch of people here because this. I mean, as much as this game looks really awesome while you're playing it, it is still. You can kind of tell it is a fairly low budget game. It's just a low budget game where they used a lot of very good art direction and utilized their tech well. And it's sort of what I am always saying about fidelity targets being the thing that developers need to focus on more so than raising prices of their games and things like that, because I'm like, well, you don't need a massive budget to even make a game look great so long as you keep the target reasonable. And I think this game did a really good job of being like, yeah, we want things to look really, really impressive, but it's going to be mostly indoor areas that are fairly, are fairly tightly structured. And when there are big, wide open outdoor areas, there's not a whole lot of different types of structures. There's not a whole lot of different types of enemies. There's usually only ever like 5 or 10 enemies on screen at a time when you're outside. Unless I guess maybe you get a really big alarm going and there can be more. But it seemed that this game always ran exceptionally well considering what's going on. And I don't know if that's just they did a really good job on the PC ports, and there's been a lot of really crappy Unreal Engine PC ports lately. But I found that this game did a great job of looking a lot more expensive than it is.
Right.
But when you play it, if you have a concept of the things that end up costing people a lot of money in game design, there's a lot that makes this seem like kind of a low budget indie game that maybe had some investors give them some extra time, but people like Focus, the publisher. But I think it's very much they had to cut some corners in certain places, and it is apparent for sure.
Let's see. So yeah, they make their plan. As I said, they want to go there and check it out. So they take the elevator out, but he's going into Limbo. I mean, we are going into Limbo, and yeah, we wake up at Granny Xena's. Let me move the thingy here. So yeah, we're in the elevator, get into Flumpy mode, and yeah, we're at Granny Xena's, and we're like, holy fuck, what's going on? She's like, well, you were just going around being on an absolute rampage. Oh, so there's another Candyland thingy going on, whatever. And our guy's like, oh shit, what's happening? Where's Larissa? It's like, well, you took her apart and put her in all the places because you went into stupid crazy combat mode. Then we get P3 having like all kinds of things going on. He's like, no, it's bullshit. He's like, oh, do you have a gun? Yeah, of course I do. Okay, give me one because I want to kill myself. It's like, no, you don't. And he hits him with a ladle. And oh yeah, by the way, she's also our mother-in-law. She's Katya's
mom.
Katya's mother. There's another twist. And she also really, really wants to kill Sashinov, but I'm not even sure why, except the daughter dying. Because she goes like, oh, he's gonna enslave all these people, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, why do you have that information? I don't know why you have that information. You haven't been in this game for like 7 hours. I don't know what your stakes are in this whole conflict, except your daughter died, which is fair enough, I guess. That was hinted at early in the game with the Oracle that she's the mother-in-law. Oh, really? Okay. And yeah, here you you get choices. You get to fight or you get to run away.
I ran away.
Mark ran away. As was like, I was going to click that button. Which
Well, yeah, I was kind of like, I don't really know which of these choices I would make because I honestly don't understand what choice I'm making. But whatever, I'll choose number one.
Well, this is the thing.
Number 1 and 2, and
there's no
number 1 is the one that just ends the game.
the thing is, the game doesn't. You have no reason to guess which would be the good or the bad ending at this point. I guess no way.
Yeah,
especially with
really
how
clear.
The bad ending happens. So basically, you decide to fight Sechenov. You go kill Sechenov. You go to the building in the beginning where we saw the ballerinas for the first time. You go to fight them. First one of them, then both of them. And yeah, actually, let me get this on screen as well while we talk about it. It's elevator. We go up here. So we have this whole thing going on. We fight them. We shoot Sechenov, and then the ending triggers. The rest is just the 2 boss fights. There's nothing too crazy about it. There's this one scene where P3 just kind of, I think he's trying to get the mask off of one of the robots to see if there's like a face for his dead wife or something, or maybe he's just, I don't know, cradling the face. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure what they were going for there. But yeah. I think I didn't mention that. We also learned that Katya was like a trained martial artist and ballerina, and because Sechenov couldn't save her, she was too far gone. He says her brain was literally cut in half. She used the polymer stuff to get the expertise and put these into those 2 ballerinas. So these 2 are not even the conscious of a wife.
Hemispheres.
The combat expertise and skills of our wife, I guess. And
but they both fight, even though one of them is supposed to be the dancer and the other is supposed to be the fighter.
So yeah, that's another twist. There you go. I love all those twists in a list. I go for them in a row. It's quite funny, I think, because it's a lot of. It's like 7. Yeah, and then after the fight, we learned that Sakharov, the glove, has been the one that's been putting us in limbo this whole time. But also something I noticed while I was watching you play, Mark. During the fight, there's some chatter going on, and at some point, Sechenov tells P3, he's like, I didn't really know what to tell you and how to do it. And P3's like, okay, I believe you might be working in my best interest. And so the right thing to do now is to stop the twins to attack me, so we can just talk it out. And I was like, oh, that's quite interesting. And then Sechenov says, sorry, I can't really stop them for some reason. Right now they're fighting the glove. I was like, what?
Yeah.
No, they're not. They're clearly attacking me. The first thing they do is trying to stab me with their key heel. It's like the first thing they tried to do. So I don't even know what kind of bullshit you're talking about. You're clearly bullshitting me. And I know that because a bit later during your fight, he tells P3 to surrender before anyone else gets hurt. I was like, he just tried to do that. You told him no. I was like, what? Stop it. You fucking mad lad. Mauler destroyed the whale boss. Oh, I can see that. You can easily destroy them.
Yeah, not a very difficult boss. I had fun with that boss though. Dewdrop.
But yeah, that's just some things I noticed, which get kind of funny. P3 actually tries to stop fighting him and talk it out, and the game just tells you no. So yeah, when the fighting is done, we see that my fucking cursor disappeared again. Sorry, this is so stupid. Why is this happening?
I blame the Chihuahua. Rocky, it's your fault.
Damn. That's rough.
You're cute.
Yeah, no, I just want to have this on screen while it happens. So yeah, we beat the Ballerina twins. We shoot Sessionov, and he's like, no, he's controlling you. And while he's lying down there, is telling you, no, Sakharov's the one who's been controlling you. I didn't notice at first. He used this brain implant we put in you to control you. He was pulling your strings, and I didn't notice because I was preparing Collective 2.0 and all that gloom. And then P3 is like, oh shit, you've been bullshitting me this whole time, Glove. And he just tries to rip it out, but he just gets shocked immediately. So yeah, the big twist is the Glove, who is also Sechenov, has been the evil man this whole time. Yeah, he's been the uber bad all along. Because the reasoning apparently is like some things, not the reasoning. So all the info we get over anything is from the Glove. And this is also said by P3 himself in the other ending, which I go to in a little bit. It's basically that the Glove has been lying about Sessionov a lot, like for taking over the world and enslaving everyone. And yeah, he was the one who wanted to enslave anyone. Apparently, Sessionov never actually. Sessionov only wanted to invade the U.S. He never wanted to enslave anyone. And as I mentioned earlier, there's a manifest kind of dealio for the Atomic Heart Project that doesn't mention anything about controlling minds or any and even Collective 2.0 is only mentioned once, because 2.0 was only to be used to fast track the overtaking of the US, and is already said to use to activate the combat modes without having to use radio waves, which also would apparently make them almost impossible to deactivate again. So yeah, this was likely only ever Sakharov's plan to take over the world, and he has been bullshitting you this all the way through. So yeah, as you see,
I mean, look at him. Does he seem trustworthy to you? He was like a big red goopy man to me.
Well, he turns to a black goopy man because the Sakharov braintism
is. You're gonna just say that out loud? Go full
hey,
mask off.
It's just what is happening on screen. I'm sorry. So yeah, he turns into the big goopy man, and for some reason, this weird cat thingy that you saw in Limbo is also here now. I don't know why. It just appears. I'm so confused why this is here.
I was wondering. I was like, wait, have we been that the entire time? Are we just like, is the reveal gonna be that we were only pretending that we were Russian Troy Baker dude? Or something. He's not actually Troy Baker's voice. He just kind of looks like him.
Yeah.
But, I didn't understand why the weird koala cat thing there.
So yeah, he just goes like, evil is just because Sessionov calls him pure evil, and he's like, evil is just some concept, blah blah blah, and we now went from enslaving the world to do things. Sakharov says, humans will have to step aside and make space for the next evolution of things, so humans will go extinct soon. So now he just wants to kill all the humans. It's like, okay, what happened to all the other things? So now instead of enslaving everyone, he was just gonna kill all the humans and become a big goop race. I don't know what his plan is. But yeah, he's gonna destroy the world one way or another. Yeah, he absorbs Sessionov and you go to you
do gay by the end.
Yeah, you gay at the end. You go back into Limbo, but after he already escaped your glove, so I guess you activated yourself. I don't know. Maybe he did it on a timer. And you see your robo waifu reaching out to you, and then the game ends. Oh yeah, he also, as you see now, the thing that's floating there, this is I guess is the alpha connector, I would assume, and he destroys that one, so no one can fuck around with his stuff anymore. Because he's now a polymer goop thingy, and he's gonna enslave the world. I guess. Or take it over, or something. And
yeah, do what evil AI goops do to humans. Enslave, conquer, kill, whatever. It's nothing good.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those, but you're not going to like it, whatever it ends up being.
not gonna be a good time.
Yeah.
And yeah, you see this thing happening. It's like, oh, they saw on the cameras that the scoop thing went away and vanished after eating Sechenov, and then the game ends. And I guess it's up to your interpretation if anything else is happening now. But I think he was pretty adamant about making things go extinct.
Yeah?
Yeah, so I'm just going to put some other gameplay in the background because I don't have the video for the other ending. And then the budget ran out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the bad ending. This is the bad ending. And the other thing you can do is run away. You could say, no, I'm not gonna fight Sechenov. He knows what he's doing. He's a hero of the Soviet Union. He saved my life. I will not stand away. I've did enough harm. I'm gonna fuck off. And he does. According to the end scene, he leaves, is never seen again. And apparently near the exit, you rip out glove extension Sechenov out of you and destroy it. I guess you just step on it and it turns off. So I guess it's destroyed. Near the exit you used, the team sees some black polymer, but because it's so small in size, it can't really be analyzed further. There's no mention of human slavery or the collective program at all. And I think Sechenov even says, like, oh, it's fine that he went away. It's just a minor infraction. It's no problem. So that could mean that Sechenov actually didn't mean to enslave the world and only attack the US. And I guess by the game logic, the deciding to leave is the good ending. Yeah. There you go. You've been Shyamalan. Are you happy now, chat?
Oh.
This is the best I could do.
I mean, you did better than I would have been. Part of that might be time as well, because man, if you told me in the time between when I finished the game and when we started this that I had to come up with a full synopsis, which needed to hit a level of accuracy, or a certain level of accuracy, or I would never be invited on the show again, I'd be like, well, I guess this is goodbye.
Nah. So yeah. By the way, I put that together with there was someone online who already did an outline for this, so I kind of used that to string along and put my own things in there as well and see what kind of came up. Then I obviously had some other things that I noticed while I was watching you. So I guess the more you look into this, there's probably more stuff that happens. But I also want to mention the horny robo fridge was right the whole time.
Oh my god, yeah. I almost forgot about horny robo fridge.
The horny robo fridge told you the whole time, get rid of the glove. He's just manipulating you.
Yeah.
And it probably wasn't because of that, but she was right the whole time.
It really didn't see. Yeah, it seems like the kind of thing that it's just the thirsty fridge talking shit.
Yeah.
And trying to get you to pay attention to her more than another inanimate object which talks to you. But yeah, turns out she was accurate.
She's right all along.
Moral of the story is fuck the fridge. Actually, you shouldn't reward her kind of behavior.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna just get rid of the footage for now, because I have some clips in a little bit that have been clipped during my playthrough, where some tisms going on, which are kind of funny. But hey,
I was stuck in the wall.
Are you all ready for the twist apocalypse? Was
Yeah,
it
let's do it.
4, 5, I think 6 or 7. So, what happens throughout the game? The perceived Batman is not the Batman, but actually still is, because his plan is to enslave the whole world. Uh, wait, what? What did I write down there? That doesn't make sense. Oh wait, I guess this is what they want you to believe. He's not the Batman, but he actually does enslave the world. But later on, you hear, oh no, actually he doesn't want to enslave the world. The guy who's telling you that the glove tells you he wants to enslave the world, and all the other people do, but actually the glove is the one who wants to enslave the world. Then one of the other twists is the glove is the science man who fell in the vat. So Sakharov, that's him. The whole way this is happening, because they have this whole conversation. It's like, oh, nobody actually saw it, so I guess he did experiments on himself and then failed, and that happened. I don't know. I don't know. Mahler's brain is melting. Good.
Oh, poor Mahler.
But then also the glove is evil and the one that caused me to go to Limbo, or caused us to go to Limbo. Even though the game says that he actually tried to help all of us, the glove is to be shown as the one who helps us all the time, but he isn't really. So yeah, Sashanov actually tried to help us, including our wife, because we learned that they all got hurt so badly, but she couldn't be helped anymore. But he at least got them to be in the ballerinas, kinda, as fighting tool thing. So that's, I guess, good.
I mean, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just
Yeah, I guess so.
and yeah, that the wife that we had a wife and she is actually in those ballerinas is obviously one of the twists. Yeah, she's in those two robots left and right. And then of course the big twist at the end that the glove is the actual super evil man who now wants the Earth to go extinct as the Goop Man. Then he's responsible for putting us into Limbo, and all the other things that happened were just inconvenient to trick us into thinking it was Sechenov. Granny Ziva is your mother-in-law. You could be put. Limbo's the combat mode thingy. I guess it is a twist that you were the one who killed everyone. I guess that's considered a twist as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that.
So yeah, there you go. There's your twists.
That is quite the odyssey of twists.
It is. It's nuts. But yeah, I had to just kind of put this together after the fact. Like when I finished the game, I had some ideas that I even said in the stream that I guess didn't work out at all in the end. I'm very curious to hear Mahler say what he thinks happened in the end when he's done. I guess he's getting close. He's apparently going into Rapture right now. He's getting the exposition done.
He'll be done by today unless he's got another show or something that he has to go on.
No, I don't think so. I think normally his Sundays are mostly free. I don't know. But he's pretty close. He should be finishing. I think his intention is to finish today. But yeah. Obviously, the big problem is the way they give us all this information. I would actually say it's pretty horrible.
Yeah, this is not a story that is told very well. It's a story that has some high concept ideas, like in its premise and everything. I think it's a lot of interesting ideas too. But man, this was not told by people who have a great handle on storycraft. However, I think that as I was playing this, I was just like, okay, this premise and the type of effects and aesthetic that the game has, it seems like the kind of thing that you could take and turn into like a Netflix TV show or something like that pretty easily, and have it be probably better than the game as far as the storytelling goes. Because I mean, and ultimately, I guess if you try to go too hard on making the ending super twist, dark, nihilistic, hey, now the world's being destroyed, then that might mess with the tone that would probably work for it. But it seems like it has a bit of an Evil Dead vibe to it, like where it's like, hey, it's robots, but the hero is like kind of a wisecracking dude who uses all sorts of weird weapons and talks shit. It's just not written very well.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you did write it well, you know, it could be all right.
It could be. It could be all right.
The idea of collective consciousness goo that communism is condensing people into a hive mind. I think it's like, well, you know, that's something. It's not a bad idea. It's a scary concept, and I think there were times in this game that I was genuinely interested by what was going on in the story, but it was only when it's like I had a glimmer of understanding. I guess where it's like, oh, okay, yeah, it's neat, and that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a. I think the game is really confused as what it wants to be, and not only story wise, also
Game design,
tone wise. Because it kind of starts when I was going into the game, I was kind of expecting something pretty serious, like BioShock, basically, like tone wise.
Yeah.
But then the character starts talking, and you're like, what?
Crispy Borderlands.
Crispy critters? Who came up with that? It's like, not to say the voice acting is, it's rough. It's really rough. And I think I saw a meme in my last stream come in, and it was like, man, it seems like those voice actors could actually do a good job, but it feels like they've been completely left alone in direction wise.
Yeah, that is probably not too far from the truth. Especially if, like, considering the nature of this development, like Mundfish is a totally remote studio.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons why when people are like, "Oh, like they're Russians," it's like, well, I mean, are they? Like maybe some of them are, but if they're if they're technically registered as a business in Cyprus, and apparently the people who work for it are all over the world. So I mean, they could be Russians, but like, ultimately, who cares?
Yeah.
But I think that when remote game development includes things like voice acting, it can get a little on the squirrely side, because it would be the kind of thing like I would send you a script and say, hey, record all these lines and then send them back to me. And maybe I might ask you to do it again, but especially if we're trying to do it for not a whole lot of money, I might not want to be like, hey, yeah, can you re-record all of these? But yeah, I think a lot of this game screamed to me, hey, this is still an indie game. Try to not forget that from a production value standpoint. And the translation and the voice cast were definitely examples of that.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I played in Russian for a bit because I don't know, I found that I couldn't listen to the voice. I was kind of annoyed by it.
Yeah, they were pretty bad.
But I at the next stream I put it back in English because I had no chance following the dialogue, because during the fights you have like all this dialogue where it's like I can't read the subtitles while I'm fighting all these enemies. It's no chance. And there were some people in chat apparently that speak Russian, and they were like, man, the Russian dub is really bad too. It was like, oh, really? Is it?
Oh, really?
Shit. I mean, I can't tell, of course, but man, that's a shame.
I wouldn't be able to either. But that's always the funny thing about when you listen to something in a foreign language. It's like, well, I mean, it might actually be better. Or it might actually not be better. It's just you don't know that it's as bad.
It sounds better for me because I can't tell any better.
Yeah. I don't know what your language is supposed to sound like.
Yeah. And then also the Mauler's at the part. I'm so ready for him to break. So... Oh yeah, while we're at the dialogue, the way they edited the dialogue together is completely fucked. There's many cases where the dialogue just laps over each other. Like they don't finish their sentence, and then it just starts the next one. and it sounds like it's so out of place.
Sometimes I thought I was just getting to the next story point too fast.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, okay. Was I not supposed to go through that threshold? Because now that story that the glove was telling me is stopped. And
I had multiple instances where I had one of these, I guess, watch kind of thingies running. There were the audio logs. And then I move along, and then the glove starts talking as well. It's like, great, and then I have to stop the audio log, and then I don't go back to it because then I don't care anymore.
yeah.
It's like one of the things. This game has a lot of small things that get pretty obvious. I had a whole bunch of very weird visual things going on, especially in the test sites, where for some reason they put things in places where things slot in. Like with those magnets, they go down and then they just have things below it, and those things just go inside. And when you put it back up, they're still there. Like they're not like crushed or anything. They're just there. Or like some things like go half into the wall for some reason. At some points, I had like ropes that didn't connect to the ceiling in one part. It's like a lot of small things like that.
There is a long tradition in PC gaming known as Eurojank. Those are examples of Eurojank.
Well, there you go. I had one instance where an elevator just spat me out, and I could see how it moved. I have a clip for that, actually. Let me find it real quick. That's the shadow one. Oh, there it is. I think I'll make that biggest. Let's find the right thing. Oh, it's already the correct thing. Very good. There we go. So, if you just look at my Screenenheimer there. So basically what happened is I came out of a test site, and I was like, oh no, there's still stuff down there. I want to go check it back out. No. So I click the button, and whoop, I go through. And it's like, oh. And then, as you can see, hang on. You can see the elevator here at some point. So it just spat me out. I could look down below the map. I'm just waiting for the... Yes. Oh. Oh, the clip is ended already. Hang on. So you can see the interesting part here is... It's actually a bit further back. Because I was wondering at some point, why do these elevator rides take so goddamn long? I don't know why that is. And then I remembered this thing happening, and I checked, and I just need to find it again. There it is. Do you see the thing over there? I don't have chat up right now. Hang on. You can see...
Oh, the little, like, kind of line?
Yeah, you can see the entrance. And it's super far down. So they put it all the way down there. I guess they have to load it in down there. It would be my idea. And they make this super long, so it has enough time to load it for, I don't know, even if you have, like, the lowest requirements for the game to load in, so you don't just arrive and there's nothing there or something.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. But yeah, just a funny clip. It just spat me out. Like, oh, okay, I guess I'm not going down there. I think I had to reload the game as well. But yeah, there's a bunch of instances where there's like weird things happening. Nothing really game breaking most of the time. Like it's a reload fixed it pretty much every time. But yeah, there's some jank here and there. Like the Pliush out of map skipping the boss fight. Oh, I had the Pliush, the first Pliush you fight in the theater. That one disappeared for me. I had to reload because someone in chat said that might corrupt my game file if I just go ahead. Yeah, I think it just clipped through the floor and the boss music was running and everything, but it wasn't there anymore. Strange. It was gone. Its health bar is stuck on my screen. Yeah, that was happened to me too. I reloaded. because someone said that might loom up my save file if I'm unlucky.
Always the fear, isn't it? That like there's going to be some glitch that you are not aware of that's going to just cost you all of your progress.
Yeah. Especially because someone in chat said that might happen, because it happened to the person who said it. It's like, oh yeah, no, I'm just gonna reload. That's fine.
Yeah, think of how often you could get streamers to like totally replay boss fights or something. You just tell them like, oh my god, no, the screen flashed red for a moment there. Did you not see that? Yeah, that's a great game breaking glitch. You gotta read yourself. Fight that boss.
I find the menuing to be quite rough in some parts.
Oh yeah.
There's this really
kicking you out of the crafting menu to craft different items.
Yes,
every time.
That's one of the
things. It's like if you want to craft ammo and health, that is 2 separate trips into the menu and out of it.
The other thing that I noticed is if you're just in your inventory, not in the store or the storage thingy, just your inventory, you could click the middle mouse button to just throw something into your storage immediately. No problem. It's super easy. You can't do that in the storage menu when you actually want to sort your shit. So you can either say to store. Maybe there is a to storage button. Maybe I'm not sure anymore. Maybe someone in chat remembers. But the big issue is your inventory can get quite big, right? Like you can get quite a lot of things. When you move things over, for some reason, every time you do that, it resets you all the way back up in the inventory. So if like, let's say you have 5 items on the bottom of your inventory, you want to get into the storage, you have to scroll down, get it over there, it resets the inventory back to up. So you go over there again, scroll down, and then you have to repeat that every time for some reason. It's super frustrating. So it's actually much easier to just exit the storage completely, go into inventory, do click, 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 click with your middle mouse button. And for some reason, it doesn't work in the storage system. It was endlessly infuriating, especially towards the end, where you have so many things to move around if you want to.
Yeah, there was a fair amount of inventory shuffling in this game.
Yeah. Hey, but at least they give you an auto sort button. I commend them for that. That's good. That's quite nice. So at least the one you can sort your inventory and storage. So the weapons are first, and then I think ammo, and then health. I think that was the order. So yeah, that was really, really annoying. Well, we do have an open overworld, but they don't really do anything with it.
Yeah.
I don't even know why the only thing you have on your map is the highlighted test sites. And that's basically all the side content you can do.
And you can't even set a waypoint.
You can't set. Oh, it's the most infuriating shit. You have a map, and you can't set a waypoint.
And there are waypoints in the game. Like it's not like it's trying to do we're doing a limited HUD thing. Like there's no waypoints at all. So you just have to look at the map and navigate. It's like, okay, yeah, you could make that claim, but you're giving us objective markers. You are putting waypoints on the screen with like meters, like a metric kind of distance calculator of how far away you are from it.
Yeah.
And I think actually the weird thing is a lot of the time I spent in the game stuck was when the waypoint would be on the goal that you're trying to do. Like, hey, you need to open this door, but not at all give you any indication as to where you need to go in order to do that. So I'm like, wait, I was like, do I have to, like, am I in a totally different area? Like, do I just not have an ability that I need in order to open this door? Like, that's it's a part of the times when I was trying to having my eat, pray, love moment in 1950s alternate history future Russia, where I was trying to find myself and understand what life really meant.
Yeah.
And what the game actually expected of me.
Yeah, it's quite something.
I figured it out eventually, but
Yeah, yeah.
So-
I mean, you just didn't find the staircase. It was quite funny though. When I
Oh my god, yeah, no, that's
that
the second time that happened to me in the game too. It happened to me
it's
also after I finished the theater boss fight.
that was what I was just assembling my cabinet that I talked about earlier. I was just kind of looking over. I had you on my screen. It's like, what is he looking for? Is he like looking for something?
I was just looking, like I didn't know. I was just like, okay, I see that there's a because you can do this little thing where you like hold up an L with your
Yeah,
like, thumb
the
and
Batman
index
vision.
finger. And it basically, yeah, it gives you detective vision from fucking Arkham, and I could see that there was a terminal below, like in the basement of the house that I was in, and this house is on a cliff face. And I couldn't find a stairs down to the basement inside the house. So I'm searching outside. I'm scaling down the cliff face, seeing if there's like a door that's at the side of the cliff face that you can get in from, underground, or if maybe that terminal was that has the waypoint on it was something that I needed to come to from like the other direction through the sewers, or like I didn't know. And yeah, it turns out I just every single time I was scanning the house to make sure I hadn't missed anything, I missed a whole ass door that had the stairs leading down to the basement.
Shit happens.
Eventually I found it. I hate when those moments happen on stream, but like I said, I analyze video games and make videos about them. You could make the argument I'm a games journalist. And sometimes I act like it.
I reloaded and fought the boss before the theater twice before I looked it up online. Make the waypoint, mark the staircase, you hack frauds.
Yeah, I know. Seriously, like that's kind of what I'm talking about. That it's like,
Well,
you're
they even
causing
do
more
that sometimes, where they mark something on the floor and you get there and then the marker moves to the next part.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, yeah. So I guess I'll wander around on my stream.
Yeah.
People laugh at me.
On the topic of audio, the audio balancing, well, not the balancing, but the way the audio is handled is sometimes it's just like shit is missing. I remember specifically the part where you explode this big plant. Like the explosion is non-existent, and there's basically no sound of the roof collapsing. And
Yeah, the sound design, even in the cinematics, sort of seemed like previs kind of deal, like rough cut. It's like it sounds like some sound effects are missing, some are kind of not as punchy as you'd think they should be, and there are audio glitches. I was having some syncing problems too, so some of that might have just been my equipment, but yeah, I wasn't overly impressed by the presentation in the cinematics and everything. It seems like there were people who thought that they were like really well made and well shot, and I guess they tried their hardest on the dancing ballerinas, to be fair. But yeah, there was always an element of B movie to all of it, you know?
Yeah. I found it weird when you give the head to Stockhausen. They make it like this cinematic thing, like they do like the attached camera to the goop, to the jar you have.
Yeah.
Like it's like you're about to do the boss fight,
Like a
but there's
big
like
deal.
an hour of game left. And I was like, why would they? I don't. It just came to me. It's like I don't know why they did it there. It's so weird.
Well, that's why I was kind of surprised when you told me there's about an hour left, because I'm like, really, this seems pretty end gamey.
Yeah, they do like all the special things. Like, yeah, I found that a bit weird. What else do I have here? Oh yeah, especially I noticed it with the electric pistol. If you get the secondary with the AoE, which, to be fair, is really useful. I used it all the time.
Oh yeah.
For some reason, you're not allowed to use your iron sights anymore, because they mapped it on the same key.
Yeah, same button.
And you can't change it because it's secondary/aim. But when you look at the gun, the iron sights are still usable. Nothing is preventing you to look through them. The game is just like, no, you have to do one or the other. And I hated it.
I guess that's fair. Yeah, I think after a while, I kind of thought, hey, could I ever aim through the iron sights with this thing, or was it always just hip fire?
It was really good at range as well. It was really useful.
Yeah, that's true.
And there's the other problem that comes in. I couldn't unequip the secondary. If you put one of them on there, you can only change between the ones you attached. So,
Oh, really?
if you want to go back to base, you have to disassemble the weapon and reassemble it. It's just a
Oh.
dumbass extra step. You can't just say, "Oh, I don't want this attachment anymore."
Although, to be fair, I do like that they made it so that you can just junk your stuff and rebuild it into other things or respec your abilities without really losing anything. Like there's no cost respecking through the whole game.
Yeah.
So if you decided you didn't like your build, you could totally restructure your build, like at any time.
Yeah, you get
or like any time that you're at one of the fridges.
yeah, you get 100% back. That's quite nice. That I could appreciate that. So you can do stuff. I also disassembled my shotgun. You can't remake it. Had to reload the save like an hour, maybe
really?
even 2 prior, just so I could
Oh,
have the
maybe
option
you
of
picked
using
the
the
shotgun
shotgun.
up, but you didn't
Oh.
find a blueprint.
Oh, I see. Mauler was too slow to pick. The game ignored. That's interesting. James says Mauler was too slow to pick, and Swell says the game ignored Mauler's choice and forced him to run away.
Oh, really? They defaulted to the ending without the boss fight?
Well, it's option 1, and that one is highlighted. So I guess
Yeah,
if
I
you
got
don't
this.
choose, they just make you run away. I don't even know why they
Oh, is
give
that
you
canon?
I don't even know.
Yeah, why even give me the choice? There's
No.
no other choices in the rest of the game.
Yeah, but why? Mauler said he pressed 2 twice, but the game said nah. He's lying. No, maybe, I don't know.
Tell him to make sure he's touching the key that has the number 2 on it. That's how you pick the option number 2.
I don't even. That's actually another thing that I meant to bring up as well. I don't know why they even give you a 10-second window to choose. Like,
Yeah, why?
I don't know.
Like, there's no, there's
This seems
no
like-
in-universe reason why like he needs to make this decision now. Like,
Yeah.
like the room's about to blow up or something. But yeah, no.
They actually could have made that the point of no return, maybe. And it's like,
Mhm.
oh, I'm not ready yet. Make it a third choice. Like, I'm not ready yet. I need to get some more stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
And then
There's
you just
things
go
that I have
back to
take care of
Granny
before I
Xena.
decide. And
Then you go back to Granny Xena whenever you're ready and do your fight or run away, whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, it just doesn't make no sense that there's even the timed input you need to do. It's fucking stupid. So yeah, the AI pathfinding in some parts is, yeah,
wonderful. I used it to draw people into my coon all the
nice.
time.
I
Yeah,
just
walk into my electric coon.
I jinxed a lot of things because the AI pathfinding fucks up a lot. There was like one thing I just went onto a stone and then it couldn't get up.
I like after the fight against the big fat robot in the theater, I was walking up the destroyed kind of bleachers, like the auditorium seats and stuff, and I got stuck in the rocks, like in the concrete slabs, and I was like, what? Like, why did they make this path so weird and almost seem like you're climbing this half destroyed building and it's just a path that sort of exists, but it's a really, really shaky one. It's like, well, why do that if you have an issue with your players sticking in geometry?
Yeah.
You know, you could have just not. You could have just made it stairs. It would be fine.
And there's another weird thing they did. There's this puzzle with the ballerinas, right? Where you have to align them with the corpses. And let me get this on screen. I don't know why they did it that way. So you don't cast a shadow on the painting or the whatever it is, but your weapon does. And then you have this weird floaty shadow going around. It was kind of funny, but I don't even know why they bother giving the weapon a shadow button at this point.
I guess the melee weapon swings, so you see the shadow swing on objects in combat. Here it looks weird, but maybe just in the rest of the game, it just creates an effect.
Yeah, I mean, I would have
assuming.
they could probably made it that it just doesn't cast a shadow here, I guess. I just found it funny. It was like, oh, okay. It's just another part of the jank, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, FPS platforming. Good you remind me in chat. FPS, this platforming, dude, I despise it. If you want to do a platformer, do a platformer, and don't put this jank ass platforming in there. I hate it. especially when you have like weird grabby ones that don't work all the time.
Well, and also it seemed odd that you have, oh my god, my dog just knocked my microphone out of the way and then started scratching himself between me and the mic. I don't know if you guys heard that. But anyways, now I forget what I was saying. What were we talking about a moment ago?
FPS platforming.
FPS platforming, yeah. It's weird that they have an air dash but no double jump too. I kept on having to remind myself that I cannot double jump. I can only jump and then dash forward. Like, guys, just put a double jump in. Come on.
Yeah, it's not fun. And there's a test site that is almost only platforming, and it's so boring. It's just so slow, and it's clunky. I don't like it. I just stop it. Stop putting this weird platforming in my FPS games. I don't want it. I just want to shoot things. Let me see. Do I have anything else that I've written down here? Oh yeah, it's like half game's fault, half YouTube's fault. So I've never had as many aggressive copyright claims than with this game. And
really?
And that's even after I put on streamer mode.
Oh.
I think one of the VODs has like 3 copyright claims. Another one has 2. Like 3 out of the 4 got demonetized after I was done with the stream. Which, it's fine. People can still watch it. It's not a strike or anything. But yeah, I just found it weird because you have a streamer mode and you put it on and you still get copyright claims. I don't know what's happening with streamer mode, if it's not working properly, or if it's bugged out, or if the YouTube bots are just too aggressive. I don't know. I saw that specifically the radios in the cars.
Yeah, actually, that was the moment earlier today when I realized that the last time I was playing this game, I wasn't streaming, and I turned off streamer mode.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got in a car and I started hearing music, and I was like, no streamer mode on. I jumped out of the car and then turned it on.
Yeah,
like, oh.
But those were the ones that still got claimed even after streamer mode, so I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know who's to blame here. I don't know if the content ID of YouTube is just too aggressive. And it's actually
my fault. Sorry about
that. Oh, it's your fault? Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
I knew it.
Didn't mean to do it.
I heard there's mass playing with this because Russia. I don't know how accurate it is. No, this is like the things. Those are claims where you could actually check what was going on, and they had like the song titles in the claims. Like I'm pretty sure it was just normal content ID stuff that happens automatically. So it might be too aggressive on that department, or the streamer mode doesn't work properly and doesn't get rid of all the copyrighted songs, I guess. That could be claimed.
It looks like at least my YouTube stream is still monetized now. I never got a single copyright strike on Rumble the entire time I was on there, or a copyright claim. I don't know if it's just because I'm at the point now that I've streamed enough that I'm in pretty good habits with not putting up things that could put me at risk of getting copyright claim, but I think also it probably could be that Rumble doesn't have the same systems in place that YouTube does for finding it. So yeah, I guess if anyone wants to review anime, probably Rumble's a good place to do. At least in my experience, anime production companies, holy hell, they will claim you if you use 4 seconds of footage.
Yeah,
put a picture of Goku in it, you're getting copyright claim.
Oh no. Yeah, let's see. I think this is all I had written down so far. I mean, we already said that it seems to be pretty well optimized.
Oh yeah,
it runs really well.
Yeah, I would say that it honestly, I think that other major publishers should be kind of embarrassed looking at it. It's like, okay, well, if this janky game can be like, yeah, we're janky as all hell, but you know what we don't have? Frame stuttering or header compiling issues or frame pacing issues. Like, you know, the game just runs pretty well. The point that like even I found that even with the motion blur on, it did kind of actually smooth things out and make things a little more cinematic looking, whereas often motion blur with an inconsistent frame rate ends up making it look like you're drunk and things are terrible. But
Right.
yeah, I thought in general this game came together beautifully. Like it made me wish that other games that I play that are similar in scope were optimized as well. But yeah,
Absolutely.
well done,
Um,
Russia, if you are Russia.
so yeah, I think that's all I've written down on the game so far. Yeah. Yeah. Any thoughts that came up during your playthrough? Because
I think
I pretty much have
my
everything in
biggest
here that I could think of.
my biggest takeaway was that it's an interesting game that kind of makes you think how man, I get how flexible the open world genre actually could be if we were doing some more kind of cool things with it at
Mhm.
times. Because the things that this game tried that were interesting were actually quite interesting. It just, as you were kind of saying, it seemed to want to be BioShock and it also
Yeah.
wanted to be Far Cry and it also sometimes kind of wanted to be Fallout. And then there were times that it wanted to be Uncharted or Dying Light, you know?
Mhm.
And yeah, I don't know. It was a game that didn't have a lot of focus, but again, I think that the the fact that it's available on Game Pass, I think makes it worth checking out though,
Yeah. If you have it on
because
Game
it's like
Pass,
there's
check it
yeah,
out.
it's weird and it's interesting. I think it will give you some good context for the immersive sim genre and the core things that work well about it and the things that do not work well when they're not implemented well. I
Mhm.
think yeah, it kind of got me thinking, wow, I might end up playing System Shock when it comes out next month or replaying BioShock or giving Prey another shot. And
Yeah.
I think even that one Redfall is supposed to kind of have a bit of immersive sim sort of elements to it.
Yeah,
Uh,
this game does a really good job of making you want to play the games it's referencing all the time,
yeah, yeah.
uh, which is in its detriment because I think they lost a very good chance here to make a really cool Doom-like game
Mhm.
more than this open world whatever it is, or even keep the open world but make it more embrace the
It,
craziness more because
yeah, and make it.
the main character
I
we
think,
have, he behaves like he's Duke Nukem without any of the
yeah,
charm.
exactly. It was kind of like an Evil Dead type vibe to it,
Um,
but he's not funny. Like he kind of has some wisecracks that he makes. They're not charming or
no,
interesting. It
like
is like,
why would you
yeah,
choose?
it's why I kind of think that like if you adapted this, you could make it good, and you
Yeah,
could make it actually better than the game.
because the
Like as
most
far as
fun I had in the game is when, as I said before, is when
not bad,
the
yeah.
sick ass soundtrack goes on, which is as Mick Gordon did work on it
Mhm.
as well. And you can tell it's really good. There's some really good bangers in there.
Yeah.
Especially when you go to the lab and there's all the mutated people going around and you just kind of fuck them up and you have the music. I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. It's actually when I turned the music back up to 100. I was like, I don't even care, claim it. I don't give a shit. I want to hear the
Yeah.
music. I want to fuck these people up. Like you have like telekinesis, you pick up 10 people, crush them to the ground, and then all the small ones just die instantly and just go absolutely nuts. It's so cool. Could be such a cool game, but now it's just kind of a, I don't know,
I think
mediocre.
it would be better as like a 6 hour, 7 hour just linear action game. Maybe make it all take place in one facility
Yeah,
and have it
one big
like
facility. Yeah,
yeah, you didn't not really need to have the open world sections in there at all. All they're really good for is the challenges, I guess, and grinding equipment like ammo and supplies and materials by
yeah,
just exploring and opening random things or fighting random enemies. Like there's not really a whole lot to do up there other than random open world bullshit.
Yeah,
But
you could
I
find some
think that
corpses you could talk to and whatever, but yeah, there's basically no side quests. You could do the test sites, which I guess basically side quests to get all the upgrades, but other than that there's nothing to do. I went back in the game. I was like, "Oh, maybe there's something happening." But no, they legit just teleport you in to the train station where you crash into, and then you can just go around and do the rest of the test thingies if you want to. But I don't know why you would, though, because there's nothing to do with all these upgrades you can get if you don't have them at
well,
that
and I
point.
mean that's the reason my plan. It's probably a good thing I didn't because I was gonna. My plan was okay when I got back to the open area. It's just like okay, I can go to the theater and then do the stuff. So I'm gonna probably try to do some of the challenge arenas and unlock some equipment and then head over to the end game. And then I was looking at you like one thing that is kind of nice is that the challenges, if you hover over them on the map, it tells you what the rewards are.
Yeah,
And all of them were upgrades for weapons I didn't have. So I was like, okay, well,
yeah,
I guess I'm just going to the end game. And I made it work.
yeah. You did. But yeah, what we now have is like a really weird mishmash of having like some pretty decent fighting mechanics. I think there's like a lot of things you could fuck around with if you had a reason to do so. I'll probably never play the game again. I don't know why I would. I've seen everything, I did everything, and now I can just say like, yeah, thanks Game Pass, I guess. I had fun. I really enjoyed the shooting and everything. That was kind of neat. If you would have made it like a much more focused shooter without trying to tell you weird high concept story, which is very, very hard to follow. And I'm even not sure if I'm pretty sure it doesn't even make a whole lot of sense in the grand scheme of it all. Yeah, it just kind of yanks it down. I think the reviews all over the place are just kind of like between this is the greatest shit ever and I don't know, this is kind of trash. I think I'm somewhere in the middle. It's like, yeah, it's fine. I had fun, but it's nothing I want to do again. I'm probably gonna go to like a 4 or 5, depending on the mood that you ask me that day. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I could float between a 4 and a 6, depending on what I just did in the game when you ask me.
Yeah,
Like I think you could go through my stream and have me being like, man, I don't know about this game. This game's maybe not great. And then an hour later, be like, all right, okay, this game's fucking awesome. Great. And then a few hours later being like, now I don't know what the fuck to do. Okay, I'm quitting.
yeah.
I'm gonna go play Harry Potter.
Yeah, needs a horde mode. Yeah, I think a horde mode would be pretty fun. I would probably check that out, but not for super long, I think. But could be fun because you can do a lot of shenanigans with the weapons. But yeah, I mean that's that. If you don't have anything, you have anything else? Because I think I have everything for now. I guess
not. No, I mean we'll both be on EFAP on Saturday.
And there's gonna be
I
at
plan on
least
doing some thinking on it.
It's gonna be at least 3 more brains on there, so I'll see what that is. And yeah, that's our take for now. There's probably gonna be more things. I don't know how deep Mutually is gonna go into that game. I don't know. I guess I already did some work and kind of put the story together the way I think it kind of should work. Does work a little bit, but not really.
Well, like I said, you did way better than I would have if I tried.
I mean, I was done 2 days ago, so
yeah, I mean that's true too. Guys, I'm really fresh from this. Like, there was 45 minutes between when I ended the game and when we started this stream, but
yeah.
And although I gotta say, I don't even know that 2 days of thinking on this would have clarified it too much more. However, tomorrow I have nothing to do but hope to God no one blows up because I'm a medic on an explosives range.
That would be
but
good. Yeah.
What that means though is that I've got pretty much all day to kind of sit around and do nothing, assuming no one blows up, unless someone like sprains their ankle. I might have to tape an ankle or something. But for the most part, explosives range is hey. Probably nothing's going to happen because if something does, it's we need a coroner, not a medic. But I'll probably do what I can to I don't know, load up my phone with some reviews of the game to see if I can get some different perspectives on it and see what what happened there. But you guys, if you're wondering, this is my fresh perspective. So if I have
Yeah.
any really really stunningly brilliant revelations on Saturday, probably, I don't know, accuse me of plagiarism. I'll do my best to cite sources if I find out anything really good.
Sure.
But
Good
yeah,
stuff.
I can't really make too much sense of what happened in that story beyond communism collective mind. It's goo. The goo has people's thoughts in it. You can hear those thoughts when you're swimming in it.
That's true, yeah.
AI man destroy world event. Also, you have superpowers.
Well, there you go. Let's do the couple of super chats that came in here.
Okay.
We got 5 buckaroos from Kevin M. A forge? Crispy critters, what a day. Oh, God. Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi.
God, crispy critters. What a cringe line. I don't know. I wonder what that translates to in Russian and what the actual translation is. The thing is, if you look at the subs while you play Russian, the subs are based on the English dub, so... Yeah,
Oh, okay. See, I sort of thought it was the other direction, because I figured they wouldn't... Who would write spoken English that way?
Yeah, the dialogue is really cringe, guys. I don't know. There's some bits that are fine, but for the most part, when they start talking, especially our main character, it's just ugh. Please.
If art direction is your thing, though, there's a lot of good stuff in there.
Art direction is amazing. The game looks really cool.
Yeah, like, I mean, this isn't a game where there's no reason at all to check it out, but
yeah, especially if you have a Game Pass. Again, Game Pass is a savior here. Next game I'm gonna play is the Game Pass 2.
I don't think I would recommend the Steam. The Steam and then setting a timer, I don't think would be a good one for this game, because I honestly don't think you'll even understand what you're playing within 90 minutes or 2 hours. But yeah,
the line they use in
a strange game.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it is a strange game. Apparently, the line they use in Russian apparently translates to "fucking pie" or something like that. So it's just nonsense too. Oh, okay.
I mean, I have seen a man fuck a pie.
Oh, it was a movie.
Well, I guess you kind of just see the aftermath of it.
Yeah. Good 5 buckaroos from Pooty Evans. No glove, no love. Well, there you go.
I mean, I guess in this game, yeah.
He swears a lot in Russian. He swears a lot in the English one too. So it's this annoying, just constantly keeping up the swearing. And it's not like a prude about it or anything. It's just like it's fine. Make it more.
It's coming off Forspoken too, which I mean, I also have kind of a bracelet who talks in that game too. Talking gloves and swearing protagonists are a trend this year.
But some of the subtitles are different from what's said in the English version. Yeah, but it's not that much different. I think it's largely, at least largely based on it, I think. 5 buckaroos from Hyperbolic Ninja. The problem with RoboSex is the cleanup when you're done. Otherwise, 10 out of 10 experience. And then YouTube keeps me making me edit this.
I mean, yeah, I don't. I guess he maybe was saying robosexuality.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, the cleanup would be the hard part, because, you know, it's not. I mean, you guys can do the math. I don't have to explain that.
Yeah. You could also just play Hi-Fi Rush, though. You could. Yeah. I still need to get back on that, but it's just so much to do. But
it keeps its momentum till the end. It's a pretty solid.
I had a really good time with the first chapter I played. I really enjoy the fighting flames. It's pretty cool.
My puppies are fighting. You might hear some groaning.
No worries.
Bucky, leave JoJo.
5 buckaroos from Pooty Evans. This game is ripe for a good adaptation into a show movie. Halo doesn't need to be adapted into a show. Adapt something like this instead.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. Adapt things that are like kind of a fun, cool idea with a lot of flexibility, but aren't amazing on their own. Because, you know, what's the worst thing you can do is make a shitty adaptation of something that was shitty. The best thing you could do is, hey, you made something that was a lot better than the source material. Congratulations.
Yeah. Models in the last cutscene. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then we got a last super chat. Metal's Forge and Chainsaw Man with Mark, please. I'll watch that at some point.
Chainsaw Man's a good show. It's finished now, or at least the first season.
I meant
And
to check it out.
7 episodes, 8, something like that. It's not super long, but it's fun.
Yeah, that's on my list for my next anime binge when I have the mood.
That's
It's like
very
I'm
good
gonna
action.
check that out.
The one that I've been like dying to try to figure out who I should pitch this to, though, it could be just because I've been watching it with X-Ray Girl, and I think it's actually a lot to this show. But it's American Horror Story. I would recommend American Horror Story.
Mm.
It's not an anime; it's a live action show. But it's quite good.
Well, there you go. That was the last super chat. I don't. Is there anything on Streamlabs? No. Very good. Well, Mark, thank you for joining me as always. Always good times.
Hey, thanks for lighting a fire under my ass and getting me to finish this game off.
Oh, no worries. I mean,
because I was sitting there thinking last night, I was like, oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish this in time because I felt like I had just gotten through the first major dungeon, and I was like, oh man, I was like, I'm on Forge tomorrow, and then that Metal told me, he's like, oh, you still got a while to go, and I was like, oh yeah, shit,
shit,
big, like open world game. Well, because I thought it was a big open world like Far Cry style game, so I'm like, man, I'm like, how long? You're like, I don't know, like 5-6 hours. I'm like, oh fuck yeah, I can do that. I was like, because it was like 8 p.m. So I'm like, okay, I can play for another like 2-3 hours tonight and then finish the rest of it in the morning.
Mauler's so confused.
I bet he is. Oh yeah, he will be. God, man, I kind of think of it. I'm just imagining Mauler going into these ending cutscenes and knowing that he's got a pretty high threshold for things needing to make sense. And, he's going into a crucible here.
Yeah. But hey, you're back more on YouTube now, right? Tell the people what's going on.
Oh yeah, so I finished my Rumble contract. I mean, I guess theoretically I've got a debrief meeting or something with them, so they might re-sign me, although I doubt that's going to happen. But my plan, though, assuming that does not happen, is to start streaming more on both YouTube and Rumble. But right now, I don't know how to do that. X-Ray Girl said something about using restream. I don't know. I got to figure all that stuff out, but I will. Right. I'm also going to actually edit some videos because having to stream 100 hours every month made it so that I did not have a whole lot of time to do other stuff in my spare time. And I recorded my Elden Ring video like 6 months ago. Oh. So I gotta actually edit that audio. It's like 20,000 words, so it's gonna be like 2 hours, and it's nice. It's pretty intense, pretty in depth, and it will take a lot of time to edit because there's a lot of. I'm going through like honestly 4 playthroughs, maybe 5 playthroughs worth of footage across different characters and different builds and platforms. So I'm like, oh my god, even just me finding what I need to find in any given time. I have a 5 terabyte hard drive that is all Elden Ring footage and like some of the other like Sekiro and Dark Souls and things that I have for B-roll. But yeah, I had to dedicate an entire drive to this video, so it's gonna be a big one, and I hope to be done at some point soon. But the next place you will find me for sure is on EFAP on Saturday.
Well, there you go. That's where you
talking about this game.
That's where you find me as well. Yeah. I'm brewing on something else that I will hopefully be able to show very soon. It's basically going to be more scripted content from me. So you have that to look forward to. I have something planned, which I'm going into this week now that I'm done with the Atomic Heart. And I think I have a couple of days before Wulong comes out, so I can just focus on that. There might be a forge on Cocaine Bear. I think Meme wanted me to join that, but I kind of decide that if that happens when I've seen it, and I just kind of see if it's actually worth talking about, or if it's just going to be a silly movie.
I don't know. I'm not sure what you'll think on that. X-Ray Girl and I saw it yesterday. It's it's kind of funny. It's definitely very violent. It's not scary at all, really. Like,
I didn't expect it. I expected it to be a silly movie. It really is, like, I just just thinking about it, I don't know if there's like
in its premise. Like,
I just don't know if there's like really a Forge episode in this movie, or it's just going to be a silly thing you watch. And it's like, haha, cocaine and bears. That's funny.
Yeah, like X-Ray Girl and I laughed a few times. There's some pretty funny lines. It's a little bit strange though that the protagonists of the story about cocaine are like 2 11-year-old kids for the most part. I'm just like, no, this is a choice.
Yeah. It's not like I can't make like something fun happen on a forge with me, but I said I'm gonna be more selective with the forges from now on. Just do the things that I actually care more about and that might make a fun episode. So yeah, we'll see. But for that, I'm brewing on some other things so I can release other things while that happens. But yeah, there's lots to do in March anyway. Mando's coming out. RE4 comes out. There will definitely be a forge. There might be a forge on Wulong. That depends how interesting that game is going to be.
That'll be tough to do, especially if you want to finish it first. Because I don't know. Have you ever played Neo?
I did. I wasn't the biggest fan of Neo because I didn't like the whole level select dealio.
Is Wulong? Is it open? I thought it was.
I actually have no clue. I just
Neo, just Chinese.
Saw it had some neat
Chinese instead of Japanese, but same team though, and it looks like it plays quite similarly. Though I heard that Wulong has maybe a bit more kind of Sekiro acrobatic things in it. But
yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna try it out anyways, but at the very least, Neo is a fucking long game.
Yeah.
And it's very hard. So you can be stuck on bosses, realizing that like you could maybe like muscle through it and learn the timing and try to no-hit run your way. But it is much more based around stats and gear than Souls games are. So at a certain point you're just like, man, I'm not getting anywhere near the damage I need to in order to kill this thing before it kills me. But I like the first Neo quite a bit. I didn't finish the second one, but I think it's just because I fell off, not because I didn't like anything about it in particular.
Yeah,
Mauler
just
finished. Wulong. Another bonus for Wulong though, being on Game Pass is pretty sweet.
That's pretty sweet. We'll see. We'll see. Mauler got the Scream too. Oh, okay, interesting. Oh man.
Oh, really?
Well, it should be kind of fun if Mauler could just
maybe
hop in and just give his impression of the game. That would be so. I would love to have that on stream, like the immediate impression. But I guess he's doing that on his own stream right now. Yeah, of course. And he's not gonna read his DMs until he's finished. So I'm probably just gonna get him in a call after the fact.
Cool. I might need to take a nap after this because I woke up at 6 a.m. and I've been playing Tom and Cart for most of the day. So.
Yeah. But yeah, hey, thanks for.
Although when X-Ray Girl finishes playing people for Sons of the Forest, I think I'll try to knock out that last level I need to get of Harry Potter so that I can learn the characters and then finish that game too, because I actually did not buy Harry Potter. I'm just playing my wife's copy on Steam Share.
Ooh, smart.
That's why I have to wait till she's done playing something. Although I found out I can play on my Steam Deck if I just turn the Wi-Fi. Because it has to check it has to go online to find out that the library you're accessing is not available. So if it can't go online, it's just like, all right, you can play. Why not?
Good stuff. But well, we did it. I guess Mauler did it as well. So I'm gonna.
Good job, Mauler.
Gonna be yelling at him. See if I can get his impression. I'm really curious because apparently he's very confused, and I don't blame him. I was very confused too. And I don't think if anything makes more sense with what I said, but at least I could bring it into some kind of order-ish. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like you going through it made it make more sense than it did before I heard your synopsis.
Yeah, well, there you go.
It kind of made me think that I got some things wrong too. I was like, oh shit, I misunderstood that.
Yeah. But yeah, well, there you go. We did it. Again, thanks for joining me, Chad. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for the super chats as well. Very generous. And yeah, I'll catch you soon. Catch you all around. Latest on the EFAB on Saturday. So yeah.
See y'all there, everybody.
See you all around. Goodbye.